Honorable Judge Joe Brown, the Honorable Judge Joe Brown. His name always precedes him. So I'm so pleased to find. I haven't sat down with you for years. It's been way overdue. I'm so glad to bring you on because we've got to talk about some things that are going on, especially the Karmelo Anthony situation. So thank you so much for joining me. I won't do too long of an intro. Thank you so much for joining me, Judge.
All right, my pleasure.
All right, so I told the judge I had to hit the live button because he was already dropping some jewels backstage about censorship. Right? We can't do anything in social media, but it's supposed to be our free voice. Correct?
It is, but the far left has been censoring it very heavily. They even have an adjunct like the Republicans have MAGA. They have the National Socialist Party of America, but there was a previous National Socialist policy, excuse me, a previous National Socialist Party of, in this case, Germany, not America, same name, but just a different country. But their acronym in German was well known to history. It's NAZI, Nazi. And the same methods that the Nazis used, and they were socialist, is exactly the same that you're finding right now that the left is using. And they have been engaged in an intense propaganda campaign that they don't want rebutted by anybody having true free speech in anything that they control. And just like certain people gravitate to, say, being hairdressers or interior decorators, those same people gravitate to the entertainment, news, and communications industries. And since they populated heavily those three particular related industries, uh, they take the opportunity to advance their cause. And one of those is to cut down on any voice of opposition. So, uh, you sent me this thing and it said either go through Google or Facebook, and I can't go through Facebook because I've been permanently banned. I had the maximum number of, what do you call it, friends, but
Yes.
I'd never posted anything. I just had the account so I could read stuff people sent me. And
Right.
they banned me permanently because they said they didn't like what I posted on X and I might make some of their clientele feel uncomfortable. So, I don't use pro.
So they banned you.
Yeah, so I don't, for life.
Wow.
And I don't use profanity really, and I don't use the N word. And what I do is stated with precise language for the most part. In fact, some people say, "Why do you use such big words?" My answer is, "You have a dictionary. Go look it up. Improve your mind." But they don't like good ideas or anything that counters the rhetoric that they've been putting out for a long time. So we are where we are right now.
We
Now,
are where we are right
where are
now.
we going?
Well,
What do you want to talk about?
as a judge, an actual lawman in the land, I need to talk to you about this Carmelo Anthony verdict and the backlash. I want to start at the top and just walk everybody down from the beginning with all the details that we saw in the case. Um, First off, Carmelo Anthony, he was 17. His victim, Metcalf, was also 17, correct? They were both the same age.
No, Metcalf was a year younger.
Oh, okay.
Kamala is 19. He turned 18 just about time this happened.
Mm,
And yeah, there you go. Now,
okay. Okay. So they were
but
both,
that's not unusual for somebody that age to be tried for as an adult, especially when it's a homicide.
that's where I was going with that. Wow. Thank you. You're right on my same wavelength. So as a minor, because of the details of the case, he was tried as an adult. People already were upset about that, correct? They
Why?
were,
I have no idea why they would be.
I don't either.
I mean,
His,
what Carmelo Anthony did is the exact same thing that results in this humongous homicide rate in the inner city,
yes.
because he may have been lying and thinking it would get him off. He said he was scared, but the truth of the matter is from growing up in South Central Los Angeles, way before it was called that, and being rather streetwise with what I did in life to earn a living, and being on a criminal court bench in what is now the most violent and dangerous city in the United States of America, and the 10th most dangerous in the whole world. That's Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
I had a lot of homicide cases, and I assembled a special crew of psychiatrists and psychologists to evaluate everyone that uh, I was going to sentence. I could do that under Tennessee law, but very few judges in the state were energetic enough, let's put it that way, to avail themselves of the opportunity. So we went and did some very extensive workups on a lot of people. And basically, what's going on is they got over mamaed. They don't have manhood in their souls. They have never learned to fight, and what they have done is posseed up in gang situations. And if anybody gets jumped, it's a whole bunch against one or two. And when you look at them, like on, I call it generically, the Fight Club circuit on TikTok, you see them fighting like seventh grade girls while swinging and long hair that the other side is grabbing, just like they're two girls fighting. They don't know how to jab. They don't know how to block. They can't do much fighting. They just sit there and look like they're some young girls. And if you shook their hands, you'd probably get a young girl's handshake.
Mm,
So it's kind of embarrassing to look at that. And that I'm too afraid to get into a man on man fist fight has kept the thing from happening because of punked out behavior. It's too dangerous for other young boys to grow into manhood by getting into these non lethal dominance combats. And it's kind of embarrassing when you tell the whole world that you did this because you were scared. So the reaction that the rest of the world is getting, oh, why should we listen to foundational Black Americans, Afro Americans, African Americans? They're not man. In other words, they're actually saying in their leadership, these people, these women, these elected officials in high places are saying he was too scared to fight, so he had to kill to stop it from getting to that point. Well, if they aren't brave enough to risk a man on man fight with bully or anything else, then they aren't worth listening to. It's a slur on black manhood, and I, as a black man, I resent that. And the other thing is, it was cowardly. The other thing was, is if you're not prepared to take a behind whipping, if it comes to that, then leave. And you win some and you lose some, but these boys are so sissied out these days, they don't even get in one on one fights except rarely. Their mothers probably get in more fights than they do from looking at things, and that's not a good example to
yes.
set for
That's
anybody. And then you get AOC, Ilhan Omar, you get Jasmine Crockett, and you get all of this splash of black female elected officials and other black celebrities, and they're talking about he should have killed the other one too. And what kind of talk is that?
right. And Judge, I want to come in here, right? You're what, as they say, you're cooking. You're all hitting all the great points. I want to elaborate on the thing about the mothers. We did a couple panels, and there was a woman up here. She was, a black woman, like black like us, and she was saying, my son, I'm paraphrasing, she was basically like, he didn't have to get up because then he would have been a punk. And so kind of encouraging like the whole stay there, because details of the case was that he wasn't wanted in the area, correct? She was like,
Yeah.
he's a punk if he leaves. I want you to speak on that that type of rhetoric that black mothers tell their son, you're weak if you don't do this,
They're
and
stupid
don't.
because the fact of the matter is, when I had the mothers analyzed by my shrink crew, the mothers had some really negative self imagery. They had low self esteem, and they would attempt to achieve through their boys some things that they weren't supposed to try to achieve as women.
Right.
And that's bad. So you're trying to live through your son, and you don't have the nerve to stand up to authority except stupidly and expect somebody to do what you see on TikTok, where the police beg somebody 37 times to please show me your driver's license.
Oh, I love it.
And yeah, I ain't. Well, sir or ma'am, you were going 62 in a 20-mile-an-hour speed zone. I don't have to show you anything. What you do, you just being a racist. Would you please step
Right.
out of the car? I ain't doing nothing. I'm going to have to
Right.
break this window. And then he asked him 9, 10, 12 more times. And then they
Darn, dang, we lost him. He was cooking. There was too much heat on these airwaves. Darn, I need to see. Wow. Hit the like. Peace, King Simon. Peace, Caleb. Everybody here. I can't see everybody. I'm not scrolling back, but I see you in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to see if we can get him back. We lost you right when you were
Yeah,
you're
I know.
heating
It
up the
all,
airwaves. You're
you
heating
know,
up the airwaves. You were saying you asked him so many times, get out
yeah,
of the car, comply, talk, go back, Judge, go
yeah.
back.
Okay, you're doing 62 and a 20-mile-an-hour
Right,
speed limit. I ain't done nothing. You just about, oh, just get out the car and act like you have some couth and show some manners. And
right.
by the way, police, up until fairly recently, when they got out of their squad cars to do a traffic stop, they pulled out their nightsticks and they put them in that loop they had on their Sam Brown belts. All
Right.
right.
Yes.
And that was because, you see, what people don't get today, because too many chiefs and sheriffs are worried about liability,
Mm-hmm.
to getting conned into settling something by some lawyer that's never tried a case but has a good rep to settle stuff for garbage fees. What winds up happening is they forgot that once the state gives an instruction, you have to comply with it. If you don't, you do at your own risk. And when the officer acts, he's also acting at his own peril of going wrong about it.
Mm-hmm.
But after he asked, and it's clear that you got the instruction and you disregard it, he can beat you until you comply. That's why they had the nightstick, and that's been the law for, oh, say, the country's 250 years old now. That's been the law for about 235 of it. So,
Wow.
the bottom line is you're stepping out of line, but people get used to it. And what's the thing about teen takeover now, where you get adults talking about goodish fighting racism, and you got them tearing up places, and the cities they live in don't have anything anyway, because everybody with sense is moving the devil out. And um, it's the women and children and the old folk and the decent folk that live in the neighborhoods that do have a legitimate apprehension about going to a gas station after dark, or doing
Oh,
broad
yeah.
daylight, or going to an ATM, a pharmacy, a grocery store, going to a movie, or trying to get a bite without getting their car broken into,
Right.
this kind of thing. So it's always a truth that I go back to that I knew by the time I was 14, because I'd seen people die by then up close and personal. And what the deal was is that it was always the scaredest person out there who would be the first to shoot or stab somebody. Why'd you shoot the guy, man? I mean, you see what you gonna do? Man, that dude wasn't doing nothing but talking, man. Why you do that? Man, you just scared, man.
Right,
You see.
Judge. I want to talk about these young. There's two groups of young men. We're not. We're going to put the because every time I say about black young black men, they always say, "Well, what about the white boys
Oh,
that are
the
getting
hell with it, because somebody else is acting a damn fool. You don't have to either.
right,
Somebody just committed suicide. In fact, I knew the family, jumped off the Mississippi Bridge and killed himself because somebody gave up on himself and did that. Do you think you're supposed to go jump off the bridge just because
right,
somebody else does it? And see, you know what is so bad about it is I've been around long enough to hear all of this develop. And you know what is so sickening when you hear that? They think is being manly and black. What they're really doing is parroting what some liberal Karen on the white side was talking about 25, 30 years ago that is now part of the lexicon. So trying to be all pro black,
right.
foundational black American, male and all this. What they're doing is parroting stuff that the feminist far left came up with several decades ago, and they don't even know it.
Yes, that the black man is actually weak. I want to talk about the young black males that you're focusing on with the violence because they're so afraid. Um, why is it that black people cannot see that him plunging a knife into the chest of one of his peers at a track meet, it equates to how they are? Oh wow, we lost him. I don't know if you can hear me, so I'm gonna hold on. We always got to have. There's always tech difficulties. We got to get Streamyard in line over here. While we wait for him to come back, I don't want to ask the question until he comes back. But y'all have heard me talk about how the violence is out of control with young men. And we're talking about what happened with Carmelo Anthony feeling challenged by one of his peers. There was no jumping. We're going to look at the video, by the way, when the judge gets back. He's going to come back. So, I mean, why is it that they don't, black people, black America, African Americans, why are they so up in arms about, here he is, he's back. Okay, I
Every
got you back.
time it gets good, get knocked off. That's
I
just the
know,
way it's
right?
been going
I'm
these
saying
days.
that. Why is it that black people are so up in arms about him getting 35 years? He's going to probably be out in half of that. Why are
17 and a half, he'll
they,
be up
why
with
are they
this
so
performance.
upset that can't they see that young black men are killing people for no reason? And of course they keep focusing on the race of the other boy, but for every one white young man that was killed by a young black man, there's what, 20 more black men killed by black men? Do you see where I'm going?
Yeah,
Why
I
are
know
they
that.
not?
And see, the other thing is if you want to see the significance of all of this, take one and divide it by 360 million. That's the apparent population that's supposed to be in the country, right?
Mhm.
Not the illegals, which probably bring it over to 400 million. All right. Now, what percentage do you have? You got 0.0000000. So you get to something that is a statistical improbability. In other words, it is so small, it is so insignificant in proportion to the big picture, it doesn't happen. These are what you saw is representative of 60 to 70% of non domestic homicides. And when I say domestic homicides, I mean the parties are known to each other and they just snap for one reason and kill each other, but they are acquainted with their killers or they are acquainted with their victims. When it's a stranger situation, 6 or 7 out of every 10 homicides are like this. And basically, what it is it's the scared one that kills somebody without any justification. Now, that's what you hear. And I find that personally embarrassing for somebody to assume that because I'm a black man, I'm supposed to be too scared to get into a fist fight.
Right.
There's some people I wouldn't. My dead brother, the late Dr. Clifford Stewart of Los Angeles, Grand Master of many martial arts, and somebody who Black Belt magazine for 15 years called, quote, probably the most dangerous human alive in North America. And he was. I
Mhm.
mean, I'd be friends with him. I'd speak real nice to Superman. You
Right.
know, over the 50 some years, we were brotherly with each other. I saw him do some things. It's like, man, ain't no human supposed to be able to do that kind of stuff.
No. No.
Damn, brother Cliff, what did you just do? I saw
Wow.
this dude. Well, look, one time, 1966, they had the first Watch Festival after the Watts Uprising in 65. We went out there to a function. They had a series of uh, celebratory events. And it was me, him, and another guy, and 4 or 5 guys tried to jump us. And we were doing martial arts on him. And this guy pulled out a tire and swung it at Cliff. Cliff took it and he bent it. I'm saying,
Oh,
damn,
Ben, the tire
bent the
iron?
tire. Now, look, Cliff used to weigh about 280 and he could bench press 400 some pounds and do reps with
Oh,
it when
wow.
he was 19. And he dropped it on the ground and the dude said, "Oh hell
Oh,
no, hell no!" And he
oh,
started
wow.
backing up, and
It's
his
something
homies,
out of a
"Where you going? Where you going?" Tired, tired, dude, been tired. Superman, I'm
right.
out of here. And they
Right.
all took off. Man, how'd you do that? Key, man. Gee, I put it in there. Ooh,
Well,
man.
you don't pick fights with people. So let's get back to him. What do you think? Why wouldn't he leave? Do
Well,
you?
it's a gang mentality that's out there. You're
Right.
trying to prove something. And when I
Right.
grew up in LA, we had the Slausons, Dale Vikings, businessmen, Bobtown, De La Soul, et cetera, et cetera. They're obsolete and gone because the tension relaxed after that 65 uprising, and they were no more until they revived. And what was going on is the little crybabies that didn't have a daddy in the 5th grade became badass, joined up a posse by the time they got into 7th, and then they wanted to go for it. And when I analyzed that type years and years later, when I was on the bench, I had them analyzed. They have low self esteem things,
Right.
and when they get posseed up, they get a chance to vent, so to speak, and convince themselves that they're not the punks that they are. See, uh, don't ask me how I did it, but I used to, when I had my unique thing where everybody I put on a bond or put on probation or suspended the remainder of a sentence, they had to come to my personal counseling session. And we won't get into how I got advantage of this, but I had some made men from a certain organization fly out to Memphis to sit in where I had the thing and the doors were locked, wasn't any bat cape on and all of this. And we'd talk, and they would talk about manhood, and they would say, "This is a man thing. You can't tear up your own neighborhoods, sell poison where you live. You can't do that. You have to be able to count on your people looking at you as an asset. When the old women can't get their, or the old widows can't get their late husband's pensions, we take care of it. When somebody assaults a young girl, we take care of it. When somebody's got a problem with a landlord, we take care of it. If you're trying to do business with us, that's old time feudalism. We deal with each other, but we do not involve the civilians and we protect them." So they tell, that ain't manly, man. You tearing up people. What you in here for? Judge, what you in here for? And I tell them, "See, you messing up your own neighborhood. You ain't got nothing to say. That ain't man. That punk. You know, that's a punk play."
Right.
And
So
it was.
right.
So that said, everybody in the world has an interesting way of looking at themselves. What they call human in their language is what they call themselves. They're humans. Then the next thing they are is they are men or they are women. And then you divide it into all these other things that we have been conditioned to lead with first. I'm a black man. Okay, fine. But most people in the world, when they think of it, would put man first, and a man who happens to be black, a human male who happens to be black,
Right.
rather than thinking of yourself as somebody black, which means you don't deal with your humanity because you're thinking of yourself, if you, as you've been taught by the propaganda,
Right.
you have been conditioned to accept as subhuman. Now, one of the problems with racism in this country that makes it so bad dealing with us is something I read almost 60 years ago in an archive section of a UCLA library. It was an anthropology assignment, and I was reading it. And this writer, from something that's now 120 some years old, what he wrote was trying to convince his audience that Darwin was right with evolution. And he was
Mhm.
saying one has only to look at the African great apes to see how close they are to humanity. They
Right.
have the same gestures, same facial expressions. They seem to even have humor, etc., etc.
Yes.
And you know what they included? The four African great apes: the orangutan, the chimpanzee, the gorilla, and the Negro are so close to being human that some of the great apes, especially the Negroes, can even speak a form of human language. So you see, there is this
Who did
thing,
this again?
chattel slavery. Chattel is French for cattle. We were looked at as domestic animals because of
Oh,
the
I see.
way we endured what was going on. See, one of the main problems with slave keeping societies is the uprising. We had a few, but they weren't big enough. See, the Romans 2,200 years ago had Spartacus in some slave uprising all the time. But see, slaves were just unfortunate warriors and people, civilians that got caught up in a war and got sold for profit. But we got into this whole thing and we just embarrassed ourselves. And I
Mm.
say that because you look at the opposition, the evil slave owners, and I'm saying enslavement is an evil thing that we needed to get away from, but every group on the planet has practiced slavery or been subject to being slaves, and our ancestors who got captured by somebody that looked like them. So Africans were enslaving folk and selling slaves. So if it hadn't been from the African component, there would have been no African slave trade to begin with, but that's another thing. And what winds up happening is they were worried about it, kept worrying about it, but they contrasted us with Indians, and you couldn't enslave Indians because they just died. They refused to do this. And then look at themselves: give me liberty or give me death. I regret that I have but one life to give for my country. See, you take the average black person, and if you give him a choice of dying for his cause, he's too big a coward to do it. But he'll commit suicide because of the shame that comes from that. And when I say suicide, it's socially acceptable suicide. You don't put a gun to your head. You don't take the straight up strychnine or cyanide or arsenic and kill yourself. You don't cut your wrist. What you wind up doing is you get suicide by cop, suicide by overdose. It's not about getting high, it's about trying to die. And half of these junkies that get high all the time, they know it's going to kill them. They want to die, but they're scared to do it quickly.
Judge,
Or
sorry, excuse me. Are you saying that the young men are
they're
self-destructive?
suicidal, they're
They
self-destructive.
self-destructive when they get in these.
Yeah.
Okay,
See,
yes.
because they ought to be ashamed of themselves. And I'll get to that in a second. But the one I'm talking about is a new thing that we developed with this psychiatric psychological panel I put together. We called it suicide by neighbor. In other
Okay.
words, if you want to read a good statement of it, Read the book Godfather by Mario Puzo.
Yes.
In there, the old Don Corleone is talking to his son Michael about that fiend Luca Brasi that in the movie was the big guy that the mobsters were scared to deal with and only Don Corleone could talk to.
Hmm.
He said, "You need to get yourself a Luca." He said, "Luca hates his own guts, but he's too big a coward to take his own life. So he will mess with anybody, kill anybody, gun down any group of people, hoping that one of them will do him the favor of taking his life. If he gets a death penalty, he
Mm.
won't squeal because that's what he wants. He wants to die. What you have to do is what I did with Bratzi. I am the only human he doesn't want to be the one that kills him." Now,
Mm.
that's what Michael wound up finding is one or two like that. But we ran into that, and I got elected to 2 8-year terms. The only two times I ever had anybody act out in my courtroom was on two separate occasions where the state said, "Your Honor, we're not seeking the death penalty." And the defendant stood up and paraphrasing it. He said something along the lines of, "What the hell you think I killed that fool for? I'm going to kill me somebody else. I ain't doing life in the penitentiary. Kill me."
Hmm. Interesting. So,
So there is this dynamic. And you see, you are a failure. And we have all of this stuff that psychologically is indicative of personal recognition of failure, and nobody talks about it. What the secret to success in today's America, since all of the legal rights that anyone has ever had, legal rights, are possessed by all. There is no more civil rights era because there's no need to change the laws so that under the law, everybody has an equal chance. Now, what happens is the kitchen table. There's no racist white man, no white supremacist sitting on the other side of that kitchen table where that kid from first grade to 12th grade is supposed to be doing his or her homework. There's no mama sitting down, let alone dad sitting down, or big brother sitting down saying, "Do your homework. You're not doing anything else until you do your homework." There's nobody doing that. So,
right.
what happens is right now in the United States of America, we have badly slid down a long, slippery slope. At the end of the Civil War, 1865, Union General Grant in his memoirs talks about a survey he had done of the Union Army. Now, at that time, 1/3 of the Union Army was black. And the interesting thing about that was, is the black component of the Union Army was larger than the remaining Confederate Army. Just keep that in mind. Now, at this point, he did some surveys and he discovered to his initial astonishment that the only company size units in the whole of the United States Army that were completely literate were all black volunteers. And he said his astonishment evaporated when he noted you never saw a drunk black soldier. They were always reading or studying or writing letters. They always were enterprising. He said he thought the newly freed Negroes were going to have to go through gradual stages because they needed to know what it was to be a man. But he said they fought so bravely, so courageously, and were so orderly, dependable, and also enterprising. He said they're ready for citizenship and the vote right now.
Wow. So I
Now,
want
what happened
to.
between 1865 when black folk who had been forbidden
Right.
the knowledge of literacy all of a sudden became the most literate people in America? What
Right.
happened between then and now? And we did there's a survey out there, and it's very interesting. The Indian community, not the Native American Indian, but the Asiatic Indian community commissioned it.
Mhm.
And it's interesting that at the top of the American heap, it's not white people, it's Indians and Hindus, and their median income is $100,500 a year
Yeah.
per adult.
per
For
family.
them, yeah, not family, per adult.
Oh, wow.
And the other thing is that their educational level, some 72% have 4 years of college or more who are 25 and over. For black folk, it's 7% have a college education who are 25 and over. And the median income for individual black folk is just a little below 35,000. We're at the bottom of the heap.
Do you
Now,
know
how did
the stats for the white for
they're
white
right,
person?
they're right in the middle.
Okay.
And that's including all of them. Now, that is a disgrace. And there's also something disgraceful that's happening right here in Memphis. Memphis is probably the largest predominantly black city in America. It's also the most violent. And right now, everybody from dog catcher to both mayor, city, county, board of education, city council, county commission, chief of police, sheriff of the county, 60 some percent of the judges, for instance, are black and female. 75% of the jury pool is black. 75% of the cops and the deputies are black. And it's the most violent city in America, and I've watched the leadership devolve from pretty good, even if somewhat crooked, down to just downright venal and incompetent, with no character and relying exclusively on color with no capability or competence. And the city has lost everything. We don't even have black club here.
Well, let me ask you a question, Judge. Where do you see blacks? Because you talked about Eastern Indians and where they are as far as education and income. Now, I want to ask you, where are the priorities for Black Americans? Because
Well,
I have some ideas, clothing, appearance. They want to appear to be
well, you look like
wealthy.
you don't look wealthy the way the typical homeboy or homegirl does. You look like you ought to be pushing a
Where are the
grocery
what
cart with some lawn bags in it.
where okay, where are the okay, that's a little extreme, but I get what you're saying. Where is it priority for if you could just outline what are the priorities of the average Black American adult? What are their priorities? Oh man, every time we get something good, we lose him. I really wanted to hear from him about this. And if this is rubbing anybody the wrong way, just take a stick and bite down on it, grin and bear it. Some of this information may be a little jarring for some people, but hey, this
You hear?
this is a yes, this is an elder judge,
Okay.
black
Let me
male,
say
so
this.
listen. But I want to get back to, I was just trying to like talk to the
Okay.
audience. Just answer me, where are the priorities of Black people
The
today?
priority is to fit. The priority is off in some nebulous, waste a lot of time field. This is the 21st century. It sickens me when I say we need to go get us some land and we need to grow some fruits and vegetables and we need to go back to segregation. Why the hell you want to jump back into the late 18th, not even 19th century? This is the 21st. And then you see, Judge, uh, you got any ideas of where I can go look for a job? And I'm talking to somebody's grandchild. Well, what was your major? I had black studies. Why'd you waste your time? Huh? I want to learn about my people. Why don't you just read up on that yourself and get something that could get you a job, or you could understand the technology and how the world works? There's engineering, science, math, all kinds of stuff like that, but you chose the black studies. What a waste of time. Are you going to teach it? No. Well, you we going to teach school? Well, yeah, maybe I can teach school. Well, you go on down here to Memphis. If you got 4 years of college, they start you off at $32,000 a year, but they'll hire you if you only have a 2 year associate degree, but it's only 28,000. So that's what you want to do?
Hmm.
Well, no, I'm gonna grow. You can't make a living as a farmer. these days unless you are a mass corporate farmer, and then we subsidize them because a lot of the American investors went overseas. And if you go to the produce department, it says Brazil, Argentina, somewhere in South America, Venezuela,
Venezuela.
Mexico. It doesn't say produced in the United States. And we subsidize these huge corporate farmers so they can stay in, and when occasionally there is a need for the food they can produce, they have the means to do it. Otherwise, we subsidize it by paying for the stuff and putting it in a warehouse someplace, or turning the grapes into raisins or something, or making wine out of it, which is a growing industry. So why do you deadlock yourself with something that's not going to go anywhere? Why do you spend so much damn time in the student union playing bid whist or spades instead of putting your head to work and getting it together? Now, I know
Mhm.
some billionaires. I've had a few sit up in a house or two of mine and have dinner. My last ex was a social climber, and we had a place, two places up in Aspen and other places around the country. And I'll tell you this, other than the trust funders, which they despise as little leeches, uh, the average billionaire, multimillionaire, his light work week was 60 hours a week. And, most people are worried about getting off, fighting the traffic jam, getting home to dinner, watching something on TV. These guys are doing research and doing paperwork and trying to scheme.
Mhm.
And you see, we have to be acculturated and socialized to nothing comes free. But you see, the culture we have been into is because it is not because, but it is about getting something for nothing. In other words, our rap artistry really got into rap deep when they started switching from brag rap, which they did in the late 70s, early 80s,
Right.
down to the gangster stuff where they were talking about moving grams. So people ideated
Right.
for a little bit of work, they could, be eating shrimps, not shrimp with a P, but putting an S on it, and champagne
No,
and
not shrimp. Wait, Judge, it's scrimps.
yeah, scripts and all of this stuff, and yeah, and smoking a cigar and got lots of half naked ladies bouncing around when the ladies look like their mamas and grandmamas who are only like 14, 15 years older than them and still walking around in booty shorts and halters trying to get laid in the hot July sun with a 40 ounce and a joint in hand, or doing some coke or maybe a little bit of something else now, a zombie drug. But, it is interesting what happened to see how we went downhill from a plateau.
Right.
Now, what I do is I don't care whether you like it. I've had a good, fun filled, well compensated life that I earned. I gave a lot of myself free of charge doing pro bono work for a lot of people.
Mhm.
I paid my dues. Uh, I put it on the line, and I don't publicize everything I did because the statute of limitations hadn't run on some of it. But it's not ignoble. I can hold my head up, smile at myself. I've had lots of pretty ladies, and people, oh, well, you run around. Oh, man, get off that old feminist stuff. I don't have time for it. Uh, you know, but bottom line is do something. We did not have opportunity like we have right now.
Right.
And it's you didn't these folk didn't grow up riding in the back seat of dad's car and a
Right.
bullet going through the back door, and you got a coke bottle you're holding for your mama and it shatters because the bullet went through,
Mm.
or you're in college graduating and it's 1968, 69, and you're going out to Anaheim to a laboratory, and this is in California, and you're 2 blocks from the Disneyland parking lot. And what you're looking for is in an alley, but nobody told you that. Cop pulled you over and said, "Excuse me, you appear to be lost." "Yes, sir." Uh, "Are you looking for such and such lab?" "Yes, sir, that's it." "Well, it's in this alley. Everybody misses it. And he gave me and the other couple of guys precise instructions on how to get there. We were picking up some samples for a professor. He said, now let me say something. It's wintertime and it'll be dark in less than 40, 45 minutes. Now, if you're still here after dark and I see you, it won't be yes, sir, no, sir. It'll be nigger. You understand what I'm saying? So
Oh,
complete
wow.
your errand real quickly.
What year
Uh,
was this? What year was this?
1968 or 69. So anyway, um, yeah, Inglewood is the wood now. Black folk run it, black mayor. When I was in UCLA, Inglewood, and when I was in high school, you did not drive through after dark unless you had the look that you were going someplace, or you
Yeah.
had some white guy's written up excuse that you worked for him, or you could prove you worked out there. You did
Right.
not go through Inglewood.
My family's there in Hawthorne, to be specific.
Yeah,
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne too, right? Black folk didn't go to Hawthorne.
Right.
Now, see, world is changing, and then it's coming through to a fundamental change, which so many of the so-called black leadership does not get. Um,
Mm.
it's got a lot to do with the illegal alien invasion. See, California, New York, New Jersey, Illinois, Michigan, Minnesota, they're essentially blue or left wing states, all right? And they do this rainbow cult thing is a secular theology they're trying to push like it's a new religion. But they are in danger because of population loss and losing at least 6 members of the U.S. House by 2030, which is 3.5 years from now.
Right.
So, in order to keep that from happening, there is a huge population influx of illegals that don't have that status designated or didn't in the last census in 2020, and they're trying to keep the population up. But that considered what's going on, and it's been a process that's probably been sped up by 10 to 15 years, is America becoming a nation that has no ethnic majority anymore. Everybody will be a minority, but the largest minority will be Hispanic, not white and not black. And you see, right now, we've just about lost our opportunity, window of opportunity to do something about having the number of black representatives we have in Congress doing something for us, because shortly it will be a Hispanic large block, and they don't care about stuff like black reparations. They
They
don't
sure
give a
don't.
damn. They don't care about whining about DEI. They'll have the jobs.
Right.
And we elected enough black officials to do anything that's necessary to advance the black cause. But they've not been advancing black, they've been advancing rainbow. And most of them, to look at them, listen to them, and observe and be familiar with what they've done, they're straight up rainbow. And you got to worry about what they're doing to get their freak on in the bedroom, and that's their business. But
Right.
tell us, you want us to vote for you because you are black, but you don't pass black legislation. You pass
No.
rainbow legislation, and you
Right.
try to sissy up all the boys. And that, by the way, is a feminist Karen act. We didn't call her that back 50 years ago, and that was caught up with the anti-war thing. War is a man thing, man. We need to be about love, man, not war. And man, if we need to change the way we boys are raised to be in, man, need to raise us like girls, man, so we will emote and cry and shout and let it all hang out instead of being so uptight and under self-control and then exploding into war, man.
Well, let me ask you about this because you have a great point when we get talk about immigrants. Um, I want to take it back to focusing on black people on this live, which we are centering talking about blacks in society. And then I'm going to also show the video, a little footage of Carmelo Anthony, because everyone's saying he got jumped, but I digress. Um,
I
with
don't care if he got jumped.
right. Hold that
Take
thought.
your ass whooping or run and then
Hold that
come
thought.
back and learn to fight better.
I got you, and I'm with you on that 100%. But I want to get back to the thing about the immigrants. Do you agree with me when I say black people have made it a shameful thing to have a job as like a janitor or a someone who works at a
Yes.
restaurant,
Yes.
and they think that they let the Mexican clean the houses, and now
Yes.
so I want you to talk
Yes.
on how black people are crying about a lot, but they don't take the opportunities to work a legitimate, and I'm not saying all black people obviously because we're black. I'm talking about there's
They come
more
from a
than a majority,
that has low
more than half.
self-esteem for the family. All
I
right.
gotta get this out because I gotta clean this up. I don't want anybody clipping me up saying I'm talking about black people overall. But there is a huge portion of the society where they think it's more honorable to be a drug dealer than someone who is cleaning toilets in a facility. Am I right about that? Talk to me about that, please.
Yeah. I talked to somebody not long ago. I ain't flipping no burgers at no Mickey D's. I said, all you gotta do is
Bingo.
be able to recognize the pictures. Why not? And I ain't waiting on, I said, I waited on tables. I dug dishes. I loaded trucks. And, until I broke up with my last ex, I had one of those black platinum American Express cards. And unless the charge was over $1 million, they didn't even have to call in to verify it.
Hmm.
Now, I did it. Why can't you?
Exactly.
Well,
Thank you.
see, you lucked out. I didn't luck out. It was hard work. I
Hard
didn't
work.
audition for a damn thing. They came and got me, and I'd had that with all of most of the jobs I had because I performed well and people wanted the performance. So
Right.
I kind of got drafted, so to speak. But, it's a bottom line. How hard are you willing to work? I need my rest. No, you don't. See, you have a choice. Get plenty of sleep or be successful and
Oh,
don't.
thank you. Thank
Now,
you, Judge.
that's what it comes down to. Successful people tend to sleep 4.5, 3 hours a night, not 8. I got to get my 8 hours sleep. Yeah, that's why your lazy ass doesn't have anything. And you're always running around begging, and before you open your mouth, trying to ask, no, I'm not loaning you anything.
See, that's what I want to say. So the immigrant is focused on. I'm not talking about what's going on with them legally. I'm talking about now. You see these restaurants, these fast food restaurants, the starting what do you say
The
wage is
position, yeah, guess who's filling them?
$20 now at Chick-fil-A and In and Out. $20 to start for
Yeah, well,
these.
that's in certain states. It's not here.
What, California, Arizona.
I'm
I
not
don't
out
know about
there. I'm in
Illinois,
Memphis,
Tennessee.
Tennessee.
What are they doing? Well, regardless of the wage, there's immigrants taking those jobs,
Yes.
and
And
so
you know what's going on? Let me translate that a little up so it gets more visceral about the
please,
impact.
please do.
In Memphis, do you know where all of the working class black folk and the folk who are young black, well, not young, but 35, 40, 50 black folk go to hang out?
Where
The Happy Mexican.
is that a restaurant?
Yes, and it's a pretty good bar, and that's where everybody goes. The parking lot is crowded. The place is crowded. Uh, Mexicans own the franchise, and they literally trot
Wow.
when they wait on the tables. They're hustling. They get it, Senor, come, hey, como se va, Senor? What can I do for you? And they take the order. The beer's cold, and they serve in large portions. The drinks are well done and a lot of alcohol. The music's good, and it's fairly peaceful in the place.
Okay.
So we don't even have any large black clubs except Penny Hardaway has one right across the street from the FedEx Forum where the Memphis Grizzlies basketball team plays. And other than that, there's nothing around here. Everything's closed up. The restaurants have closed up. You know, uh, a date and I were out the other day trying to find something to go to. Say, there's nothing open anymore. They're all closed, not just for the night, but closed down. What happened? And that's because of the crime. So
Because the
we've
crime,
had and then on that, man.
the violence that happens in there.
Yeah, but here's what's bad about it, man. It's nothing but racism, man. See, crime is a black thing, man. And when you crack down on crime, that's just an excuse to racism, man. So you can crack down on black folk. Where in the hell did you go where you think crime is typical of black folks? Some, yes, but not everybody, because it's somebody black, a sister that doesn't want to go get gas when she ought to, and she's almost on fumes because she's scared to go to a gas station in this crummy
Exactly.
place. She doesn't
Exactly.
want to go to the grocery store in the wrong time of day because she's not worried about running into a racist white supremacist. Guess who she's got in her mind that she doesn't want to run into? Why? You're not protecting and providing, you're sitting there preying upon. You're trying
Right.
to do predation on your own people
And
because
it's
you're so
hard.
messed up. Now, you know how this started?
How?
I got here more than 50 years ago. I was a young lawyer and I got assigned here to Tennessee on a community lawyer fellowship. All right. I wound up staying. But I used to run the public defender's office and I saw what happened. I'd go in because some of my white employees were scared to go into certain of the black areas, all right, to talk to defendants that we represented and witnesses to various crimes. So I'd go. So I'm in there and I'm in the kitchen, and this is horrible smell from these stinking kids that haven't been bathed in 2 weeks with dried food and poop all over them.
Mm.
And I'm looking at 8-year olds, 7-year olds that are supposed to be in school. And my client, who's 19 years old, I'm tired. I can't be getting up to get in there old food. He's going to be like, that's like it's no good daddy. Why they waste the time? And I'm looking at girls in there from 13 up. The 13-year-olds have a couple of babies in this kitchen.
Oh,
And
wow.
you little Ian, bring me my cigarettes. You ain't worth nothing. Bring me a beer. And what are you talking to your child like that for? Now, see, this would be like 1976, 77. Fast forward to 1986 or 7, and this 8-year old is now 18 years old. Let's fast forward to 1997. He's now 28 years old. Let's go to 2007. He's now 38 years old. Let's go to 2017. He's now 48 years old. And you tack on another 9 years, he's now 57 years old, and he probably has great great grandchildren. Now, let's talk about a family I had in my
Mhm.
courtroom. It's 1994. I've got a 53-year-old woman charged with various felony drug and theft offenses. When I get through looking at my detailed probation reports that I was having specially prepared, I noticed that simultaneously to the 54-year-old woman, excuse me, she was born in 1937, the 54-year-old woman in my courtroom, I've got her 43-year-old daughter born when she was 14. Okay. The 43-year-old daughter has a 34-year-old daughter born when she was 1 week shy of 10 years old. Okay. The 34-year-old daughter has a 21-year-old daughter. The 21-year-old daughter has an 11-year-old daughter pregnant with her second child.
Wow, what? That's
So
crazy.
when I bring the now 59-year-old back in front of me for messing up and the 21-year-old back in front of me now 23, about 15, 16 months later, and I'm making them show up every 2 weeks so I can eyeball them and keep them straight. The 23-year-old's daughter is now 13 with one, two, three children. I was making the 57-year-old, now 59-year-old come back every 2 weeks with some reports that people had done. 1 week she had 342 lineal descendants. The next week, 2 weeks later, she had 358. 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 2 Yeah. Now, one of her great grandsons was in my courtroom. He was 29 years old, and this clown had 47 or 48 children, never paid a dime in child support, and about 35 or so different baby mamas.
See, this is the thing. Yeah, go ahead. You
Oh,
want
it gets worse. When I retired in 2000, this woman had 3,400 plus lineal descendants, and she wasn't but 63 years old.
what? That's remarkable.
And no, it's not. We tracked five women total. She was one of four. One of the women was white. And between those five women, by 2008, they had almost 200,000 lineal descendants in the West Tennessee area. Nobody knew it because nobody was tracking it.
What?
So when you start talking about what's wrong with us, you started getting those who took advantage of the late 60s being an era where most state colleges and universities did not have any tuition, or if they did, it wasn't significant.
Right.
The main thing was just paying for where you were going to live and get to school and where you were going to stay. So a lot of people avail themselves of the opportunity to escape. So we got the ones that were left got into this hustle mentality where the Johnson administration in 68 came up with that
Mhm.
safety net.
Yep.
So instead of getting the welfare to help out the children who were needy, they had children so they could pay for themselves and had grandmama keep the babies.
Right. That was the welfare era when it
Yeah.
when we embarked.
And eventually they cut it back so it wasn't an unlimited increase. They'd cap it. This is all
Right.
you're
How
going to
many
get no
children?
matter.
I think it's at 12 children.
Yeah. And then see the other thing was is juvenile courts were really bad. Judge, this ain't my kid. Well, I tell you what, you feed it long enough and it'll start looking just like you. So you had a whole bunch of fathers who knew they weren't the fathers, but they'd been accused because they were the ones with the jobs working at International Harvester, John Deere, Firestone, Ford, Chrysler, or something like that, or MGM. And they got accused of the paternity, and there were no DNA tests back then. So you got this resentment build up. You had another thing where the social workers would sit with binoculars and check out to see if any man was going up in the apartment. Maybe he had two
Yeah.
kids he was trying to visit. They'd cut the
Right.
check off. And when I first started practicing law 50 plus years ago, number one case was getting a check cut back on because somebody had tried to play dad, so they got shooed out. And then you got this poison hooked up with black exploitation, where Hollywood was going broke because of color TV. So they came up with a new paradigm, and they were trying to get new audiences to stuff the box office with cash. And they came up with the black exploitation movie because instead of just trying to uplift black folk, they went to the lowest common denominator. They don't want to see Sidney Poitier be Mr. This, that, the other. They want to see themselves. So we got pimps, hoes, drug dealers,
Right.
burglars, thieves, murderers, gangsters, everything else. And that was what became legitimated. And then after Superfly, man, I gotta get me into that cocaine, man. That's some money, man, and then he started seeing all of that.
Right. So,
And it
mhm.
became absolutely ridiculous to see what we did to ourselves.
So
If we had a move,
that's that I want to talking about when you say the movement, it was a very distinguished group of black people trying to better us from pull
well, no, no,
ourselves
no,
from
no,
our
no. Get off
bootstraps.
of the distinguished. It was ordinary black folk
Well,
trying to work together. But what happened?
well, I say distinguished. I say distinct. I'm talking about rich. I'm talking about with morals and honorable
Yeah,
people.
oh,
That's what
that
I
that
consider
kind.
distinguished.
Ordinary black
Yes,
folk were upstanding
right.
people. We
I call
worked
that
hard,
distinguished.
and we
Yes,
tried to do better and dealt with self improvement.
Right.
But what happened with the groups that were backing this up, and the peace in the neighborhood went to hell because we had too many Al Sharpton type hustlers back then. We
Mm.
had too many Maxine water, wastewater type hustlers. We had now much, much older editions of uh, Memphis girl, educated, what's her name? Jasmine Coonhead Crockett,
Oh,
and Hakeem Jeffries types, or Johnson mayor in Chicago that came along, but they weren't the mayors that we had then. By the 1970s something, every one of the largest cities in America had a black mayor. L.A., Chicago, New York, governor of Virginia, this kind of thing. And the people that they have now aren't them. The people that they have now are scared to walk out in the streets. They have to have cops, massive contingencies of cops to keep them safe because they don't connect with the people they represent. And they don't even represent black, they represent rainbow. And you wonder what they do for their free time and what they got initiated into by doing.
uh-oh. Darn it. He got kicked off. I wanted to, while he was talking, bring this up. We're going to wait for the judge to come back. I know this is a tough pill to swallow, but, he's got a lot of points here. When I walk into, I went out of town recently, and you know what, Aaron, if you don't want to face the fact that crimes has become something that our people think is just normal, that's fine. Okay, but it's true.
There
Judge,
you go.
you were kicked out. I want to get to this because I was just seeing somebody in the comments. Some people get upset, but
I
crime
don't
is.
give a damn.
Let
It's
me get
look,
this out.
I'm gonna check out soon enough, and I've had a long life.
I don't
Just
want you
had
to.
a 79th birthday yesterday, and I'm
Oh,
feeling
happy
good.
belated birthday!
Thank you. And I've had an exciting life. I don't give a damn. I'm just trying
Right.
to keep you from having to deal with some problems you're bringing on yourself. And if you're too
Thank
damn
you.
stubborn and hard headed because you ain't got your shit together, you got to go talk smack. That's your problem. You'll have to
Yeah.
live with it. I'm just telling you, I've already reconned that. And this is what you need to deal with so you can live in your own little fantasy world. And if you had something you've been contributing to the cause, it would fit into some parenthetical brackets about this wide. So,
Right. Because black people, listen, you're from a time like what my parents. Black people tell it like it is when they don't want. We're not going to sit back and sugarcoat that crime is a big part of our culture. I was talking about how I went out of town for a show, and it was no big deal for people to be like, "Oh, we might have a fist fight here." We're used to that. I, I wasn't shocked that the violence could have been a factor. We're used to violence, and we shouldn't be as black people. We shouldn't walk into a forum where we're going to have a conversation or try to have intelligent dialogue and know, hey, somebody might get beaten up or killed in this room. I'm tired of that. And then all they want to focus on is, oh, look how she's dressed and look at her wearing them. It's black people are so focused on the wrong things. You're focused on the wrong things. You want to make fun of how people don't have enough money. You want to make fun of how people dress. You want to look. What about what's going on with the core character of us as a whole? You don't want to talk about that. And it's a big deal that black people are out of control. You glorify drug dealers, you glorify sluts, you glorify prostitutes, you glorify pimps, you glorify get money, and you have no values anymore for the most part. Now, for the black people who are not like that are friends of mine and are my audience, the hit dogs holler. But if you're in here crying about a black man, an older black man who lived through civil civil rights era. You heard him where the cops told him, "We're going to call you the N word if we see you here," basically like sundown. You don't like to hear, "You're too soft." He's right. You're too soft. No, of course not. I'm black, Aaron. What are you talking about, all black people? I'm black. I'm talking as, I'm putting all of us together. We're all one whole. So obviously, I'm not talking about all black people, possibly not you. But we can't keep on crying about these harsh words, because this is a gentleman who has lived through a lot, and he's telling you the truth. We need to stop being so soft. So thank you for being back here, Judge. I'm going to show the video, some footage that they weren't releasing before the trial. You can see the area where this young these boys, these teenagers are, and I'm going to get to the part where you can see there wasn't very much commotion at all. But then
There's
you
hardly
see them,
anybody understands. They're essentially vacant. This isn't
right.
a situation with a big crowd.
So the yellow tent, I'm just going to try to play like two, maybe a minute or two right before the incident. Let's get right here. It's around 4:42. We're going to look to the left of the screen. There's nobody jumping him, but I get you, Judge. Exactly. Even if there were, that didn't give him a right to plunge a knife into his
And
peer's
see,
chest.
I can't get over this. When I was 16 years old, I played football at Dorsey High in LA. We had a basketball game, and somebody did this kind of punk play. There's a fight outside, and he wasn't even having a fight with the guy, but he stabbed our starting varsity quarterback, who died a couple hours later.
Wow.
And when they caught him, he said he was scared. He was just trying to get away. So yeah, it was a punk play. And like I said, it was always the coward out there who would shoot or stab you so he
Yes.
didn't risk a butt whipping.
Always. And that's the problem with these young black males. They want to shoot and stab. They don't fight anymore. If you're going to be a troublemaker, or if you're going to be around trouble, you better be ready to get into some fights.
Yeah, you talk a good game
Otherwise,
and you
mind your
can't
business.
back it up.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's always these bullies out here with the knives, and he's a troublemaker. They told him to leave. He should have left because of his pride. But let's go ahead and play this. And then I want everybody to focus on the left side of the screen. There's no commotion until he plunges that knife into that boy's chest. Let's watch. So you can even talk if you like, but you see.
Okay, this whole thing, let's fast forward to the trial while you're watching.
Yeah.
They talk about they cut all the blacks off the jury. Well, not really. When the judge conducted the Batson v. Kentucky hearing, which he did appropriately, uh, four of the black folk knocked themselves off because they said because the defendant was black, they couldn't give the state a fair trial. That isn't even a challenge. That's you just off for cause. And three of the women who were called in indicated that they were going to have problems because they were school teachers and they didn't know how that was going to wash dealing with a school child as a defendant. And they didn't know if they could put their hearts in it. Okay, so that's valid right there. Uh,
Right.
when
So
Batson
that's
first
why they
came,
got kicked.
yeah, now let me
Right.
say
That's
this.
why they were excluded.
Yeah, now
Um,
let me say this. I'm
I
sort
want
of
you
a,
to say that, Judge, hold that thought. I just want you to see right here. It's
okay.
going to be less than 10, maybe 10, 15
I've
seconds.
seen this several
I know. I
times.
want the
I want
audience
the
along with
audience
me.
to do it. You said I could
So
talk.
he's
Anyway.
he's going to push him, and then he gets stabbed. Let's watch. Just keep your eyes focused on that. He pushes him, no commotion. He pushes him, dang, stabbed.
That's a
There, he
punk
stabbed him.
play.
Thank you. Now that's what I wanted to
That
show
is
these
just
people.
a cowardly punk ass play.
Yeah, yeah. Was he getting beat? Was he getting jumped like all these black
Well,
advocates?
no. Let me tell you what the law says.
Yeah.
There's a thing called an assault. There's a thing called battery. A lot of stupid legislators do not know the difference these days, and they're uneducated, so they combine assault and battery into an assault. What an assault is, and it comes up in self defense, is when someone assaults you and puts you in a position where you have a reasonable apprehension that you are going to be struck. You may defend yourself from the anticipated strike. You
But if you're
cannot
provoking,
exceed the degree of force that's being used
okay,
against you.
thank
If
you.
it looks like you are going to be subjected to a life threatening injury or your death intentionally caused, you can defend yourself by using deadly force and even take the life of your assailant. But you have to have good cause to understand or believe that you are in jeopardy of suffering a life threatening injury or you are about to have your life taken on purpose.
But Judge, I want to ask you.
So
I
he
checked the
did
statute.
not have any of
Right.
that. There
I
was,
checked the statute.
yeah.
If you are provoking the aggressor, if you provoke that person, is it illegal for you to use lethal force after you've provoked them?
It depends on whether an attack continues that you have to stop. It depends on the state. So we have 50 states in this union and some territories and protectorates. So I don't want to speak on that. Check with your local trial lawyers association and find out or read up on it yourself. But generally, if there's provocation, it would come to that. But in this case, there is no earthly excuse because a shove does not translate into force likely to cause you a life threatening injury or intended to cause your death immediately. See
So
what I'm talking about? You can't use deadly force to oppose a simple shove or push or non lethal battery or
yeah,
touching.
can you imagine how many school age children have gotten into tussles and fights? And you could just they're trying to justify him plunging a knife
Yeah,
into the. I want
but wait a minute. Let's go a little
to talk to
further.
you about these. Yes,
Let's go a little further. How about all of the inner city deaths, black on
talk.
black crime that
Yes,
we are don't cry about that are the exact same thing
thing.
because
That's
some
my
coward
point.
would not take a butt whipping or risk it. He killed somebody.
That's my point, Judge. Yes, they black people are so worried about, oh, he was white, he was white. No, first off, and let me say they're saying it was racist. When you hear that 911 call, the kids don't say a black guy stabbed. Even when they ask him to describe, they describe the guy, they start talking about his clothes. They don't say, oh, he was black. So they make it like it's a race thing, but black men, young black men are killing each other, young black boys, teenagers, and black people are not, you should be happy that there's a precedent, right, Judge? Like you're going to get 35 years for doing something like this.
He should have gotten life.
Yeah. So there are a lot
Look. Let me say this.
I think he
I'm
should have gotten
sort
life.
of an authority on Batson. I wrote a 12,482 page brief to get the youngest person in the world off death row. I got a stay of execution along with a retained local attorney down in Arkansas, 23 minutes before they were going to execute the youngest person on a death row in America for supposedly killing three white people when he was in the seventh grade. All right. I
Of
got the
blackmail.
Yes, and I got the conviction reversed by an all white, all male Arkansas Supreme Court acting unanimously on the Batson issue.
Right.
So I know what I'm dealing with. I was a judge and handled it all the time. And sometimes it's not, see, a jury of your peers doesn't necessarily mean that everybody has to have somebody that looks like them. It's just, is this person in the same economic circumstance as you? Is he coming from the same area? Does he have the same understanding of the law, value system, and things like that? Now, I wound up, one case stands out. This has been 45 years ago. I represented, along with another gentleman, a young man who was 16 when we went to trial, and Tennessee wanted the death penalty. We hung that jury up with one sister who jumped up and started talking about Teach on that, brother. Teach on that. I said, amen, sister. There's more in this sermon to come today. Just sit on down. And she hung the jury up. We tried this boy again about 6 months later with an all white jury, and they acquitted him. They didn't even stay out 35 minutes. And the mother of a federal prosecutor was on that jury. And about 8, 9 months later, somebody else confessed to the crime.
Mm.
Now, you see, that was 45 years ago in front of an all white jury with two black lawyers. And I will say this, one of the problems with what you see in court is so many of the lawyers have so little actual hands on experience with trial activity that they're still kind of rookie-ish. And when an experienced trial lawyer looks at it, he says, oh, they have a long way to go. But the public doesn't know any better. It's like going to a doctor who's never been an intern nor done a residency, because you have people with national reputations may have 2, 3, 4 jury trials in their whole career. And then you have other people who might have had 3 jury trials in 2 weeks on a regular basis for years, and who have hundreds, thousands of trials that they have had. And they can do it in their.
Oh no, we keep losing him. Okay. I want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in. Please hit the like button. I know this is a very tough topic for a lot of people, but we need to talk about this. We do. We need to talk about this without sugarcoating it. You're back. We got you back. Whenever you're cooking, oh, we lost him again. We need to talk about this without sugarcoating it. We cannot kid glove each other. Okay? We cannot keep on telling Black people, oh, well, it's okay. We have proms being shot up by young Black males who aren't getting invited and their feelings are hurt. Like 5, 6, 7 reports of proms being shot up. We guys, we can't keep on acting like this isn't a big deal. And who should we not go to? Who's not better? Elderly, successful, law-abiding, well-known judge, retired judge with all this history. And he was a part of the civil rights movement. So I hope we can get him back. Yes, here he is. We got Judge Joe Brown back in the house. Whenever it starts getting, you can start cooking, those airwaves start acting up. Go ahead, Judge.
Okay.
Continue.
All right. And see, when you get these kind of situations, you listen to a lot of crap that's out there. One of the big things that hangs in there is all these innocent brothers get convicted by these racist juries because of white supremacy.
Right.
Well, the truth of the matter is over the last 50 years, the stats haven't changed. There's just a little more than 2% of the population of American prisons that got convicted by a jury. 97+% pled guilty. And out of that 97%, about 83 to 86, 87% confessed. And when you got a chance to look at the recordations of the confession, it wasn't, they made me do, they tricked me. What you see is this OG out in your courtroom trying to play badass for his posse. He's
Yes.
got snot running down his nose, crying, and I want to see my mama. You let me see my mama. I tell you anything you want to know, son. This is a very serious charge. A suggestion, you need to stop right now and we'll get you a lawyer. I don't want a lawyer. I just want to see my mama. And it wasn't me, it was Stomp Daddy, Little Earl. They the ones did it. They made me do it. You know, like, oh, please, this is embarrassing.
Mm.
And you go out in the courtroom, yeah, man, I'm holding for the posse. And I just say, well, this one over here, I believe that individual spoke at a bond hearing for the defendant, and I think his name is so-and-so. Come to the microphone. Your name so-and-so? Yes, sir. Take him into custody, and that one and that one. The defendant has identified them as the unknown missing suspect and suspects in this armed robbery. Please take them into custody right now and they'd grab them, throw them in the lockup. And the court at this point will show no bond being set. At this time, please set in a couple of weeks a bond hearing. I think it'll take that long to prepare it. You
Mm.
see, so you get these situations where they tell, so mama, I wasn't even there. They putting the case on me, and you represent this fool. Man, what you mean you weren't there? Well, I wasn't there. Well, how do you tell me that guy couldn't ID you because he was smoking a cigarette under the light pole? How you know that if you weren't there? Well, see, I wasn't there because he couldn't see me. He lying. I bet. They got 7 witnesses that put you there. 5 of them gave the police your mama's address. Now,
Oh
what are
wow.
you talking about? And then you talking about this one
Wow.
couldn't see you because he was smoking a cigarette. So how you know that if you weren't there? Well, see, I was there, but I wasn't there. Oh man, oh, you see, you get all
Yeah.
this nonsense. Oh, we bought this case, man. It's a real heavy case. Me and my lawyer bought this case off, man. What do you mean bought this case off? You were in the back seat of the car, and there were 2 roaches in the ashtray. And I had the prosecutor drop the charges because they couldn't sustain them.
What
What are you
about being
talking about?
guilty? But what about these young men? Talk to these young men out here that they know they may be going to school, they live in the hood, but they're guilty by association. Their cousin is a drug dealer, or their friend is a gangbanger, and they decide to take that ride, and then they get caught up
Yeah,
in some
what
big
you asked for it.
talk.
There's an old saying that every society has a version of for
Birds
as
of a feather,
long as anybody can remember.
birds
You
of a
get
feather.
judged by the company you
You
keep.
keep, yeah, yeah.
And then,
Birds of
see,
a feather flock together.
yeah, and then see, here's this other thing. Lawyer Brown, they just putting the case on us, man. This is when I was practicing law 36, 7 years ago. What do you mean putting the case on you? It's
Mm,
4:30 something in the morning.
mm-hmm.
You're in a neighborhood where you know you don't belong. You got the music turned up so you can share it 4 blocks away. You have one tail
Why?
light out. Your
Woo.
registration is 2 months out of date. Your driver's license is expired. And you sitting up there, you smoking joints because you looking at the big houses just in case you decide that there's something you're going to have to come pay another visit for. And
Yep, you're
that's
not
what you're
lying.
telling me. What's wrong with you?
You're not lying. You are not lying. It's like some kind of mental illness where they know they have these warrants. They know they don't have the headlight. The music's blasting. Remember the cop that got killed by that man that was sitting out in the front of those apartments and smoking weed? You remember that?
Oh,
They,
there that happens all the time.
they made that black male who killed a 21-year-old police officer. They made him like he was a hero in our community, in the black consciousness community. They made him like he was a hero. Oh, we got to free him. He was framed. He killed a police officer.
And then you know what? See, people I ain't gonna call nobody, sir. Excuse me. Your name is Thomas Jackson, right? Sir, that's your name. And you notice the court just called you, sir.
Right.
You notice that everybody in here that's got a high paying job, runs a business, has a degree or 2 or 3, they call everybody sir, ma'am, please, may I, thank you, pardon me, excuse me. And you sitting up here being crude, and you're the one that's unemployed, you're the one that dropped out of school.
Mm.
Do you notice any connection here with your behavior and that of these people who are successful? Well, I tell you what, you decline to say, yes, sir, no, sir, ma'am, thank you, please, may I, pardon me, or you call somebody by their first name again. Mr. Williams, would you please check and see if your key works in lockup? And if it is, the next time he utters anything like that, go use it and take him back there and have him have a little time out. We might
Yeah.
get to him in a couple of days, and
Yeah.
those home training manners suddenly kick in.
Right. But they didn't get those manners. And because I saw somebody in the chat say, we don't have to say that anymore. It's how you're raised. It's
That's
about
what the hell's wrong with you. What do you mean you don't have to say that anymore? It wasn't
right,
because
right.
somebody was making you
As
say
a
it,
judge,
fool. It was
right,
because you had respect for yourself. It's a
right.
courtesy.
As a judge, I want to talk to you when I've been in court these recently for like a traffic situation. I hear barely anyone says your honor anymore. It's like, do they not?
And
understand
see,
when you.
that's because we have judges that are just like I said with some of the lawyers. Our judges I know sitting on a bench have never had a case as a lawyer that involves what they're presiding over.
Mm, they don't.
Let me give you one. Let me give you one. This person sits on a federal appellate court. They put their husband through law school.
Mm-hmm.
When they had three children, they went to law school. They passed the bar. They got sworn in as a brand new lawyer, and 4 days later, got sworn in as a superior court judge. That was the biggest rookie in the courtroom, is the judge. And within a year and a half of graduating from law school, this person, due to politics, got made a federal district court judge. Now,
Mm,
what do you expect from that? And see, I know that myself and every black judge in Shelby County went on a holy crusade along with the black lawyers. And one of my mentors, the late H.T. Lockett, Judge, His Honor, a fine man, lived to be 96 years old. He said, "Excuse me, counselor, you just called this guy Jackie. Mr. Jack Wilson is 74 years old and you are 36. If you call him by his first name again, uh, you're going to be escorted out of the courtroom. The court's going to bring Mr. Jackson up here and we're going to see what he would like to be called. If he wants to be called by his first name, fine. If he says last name, you got a 10-day free vacation courtesy of the high sheriff."
so is that contempt or no?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. You do it again. And we got it so everybody was yes, sir, no, ma'am, please, thank you, may I. And it ran respectfully. And you represent the state of Tennessee or state of New York, state of California, state of Illinois, not yourself. It is not. I think you need to, you are in a third person. The court is not impressed by that. Please explain to the court. It's not me. You have an office. And when you're courteous to somebody, that's like you see warriors, whatever the race, Zulu warriors, French warriors, Japanese warriors, it doesn't make any difference. They bow to each other, they are
Right.
respectful, they call sir,
Yeah.
my lord, and all of this because powerful men have respect for their stations and what they've earned, the respect and the position and the acumen and the renown. So you respect that. The reason we have this lack of respect is so many people, excuse my language, ain't doing shit. So they want to eat, bring everybody else down to their level, and it doesn't work that way. That's why we
Right.
have so much violence because nobody knows how to be respectful.
They don't want to be respectful, and they haven't been raised to show that it is important to be respectful. That's why I said it's not just blacks, everybody. I'm saying they don't even say your honor to the judge who has
Uh,
the
what,
ability to.
it's like, excuse me, you're not talking to me personally. You're talking to the state of Tennessee, and there's several million people in the state of Tennessee that this person up here in this bad cape is representing. So the office demands respect. You shall respect it. So since you can't take him in the back, and in a few days remind me we've got him back there. Okay, now move on to the next thing. You'd get instant respect. And by the way, sovereign person or not, that's what you call the power of the state or of the government. Now, take him back there. And in a few days, remind me. Now, next matter. And you see, you break all that stuff up. And then the other thing is, see, there's another part to it. When I first started going to the upper courts, I remember one time this lawyer and this judge got into a certain animus. "Mr. Thompson, you got a problem with the coat?" "Well, yes, sir, I certainly do." "Well, Mr. Thompson, the court would invite you to settle this man on man, perhaps behind Benton's at 4:30 this afternoon." "Well, Your Honor, that'd be great." And these old guys met up behind Benton's. It's not there anymore. It was a series of bars where they now have the Justice Center. and they took their coats and ties off, and these old guys were boxing, and they could throw
Wow.
down, jab, I said, whoa, these guys can fight. And they got until they were winded, hands on knees, panting, come on, everybody shake hands. And they bought everybody beer for the
Wow.
rest of the happy hour and shook hands. And see,
And
that's
lived
what it
and they
was all
lived to see
about.
it and they lived to see another day.
Yeah, and you see, they fought it out, and they could fight. They could probably whip half of the thugs running around because the thugs are
I
like,
saw that. I saw some videos of these guys, these young guys windmilling. I was like,
yeah, it's like, man,
what
come
the
on,
heck
man.
is going on here?
Well, a funny story. He died as complications with some anesthesia, getting his knees and back worked on. My good brother, the late Dr. Clifford Stewart of Los Angeles, California, the one that I said Black Belt magazine called, quote, probably the most dangerous human alive in North America for 15 years. Anyway, somebody wound up, we were somewhere and they wanted to act like they were going to rob us. We going to rob you old dudes. Oh, you are?
Mhm.
So me, my bodyguard, and my brother, we started laughing. Oh man, it's gonna be fun. Come on, how you gonna do this? Yeah, come on, really? It ain't funny. Let it hit the ground. It's going down. I ain't seen nothing going down. So we all had permits anyway. So this dude's gonna reach like he's going for something. I had my 45 out right there before he can even pull it out his pocket. He got it out his pocket. It turned out to be a knife. So my good brother, who is this master martial artist, just he said, "Come on." So the dude tried to take a swing. This dude didn't even see what happened to him. And the next thing, this dude is there pissing all over himself
Oh
because
no.
what he did to him. He
Well,
said, "Now." And then he stepped on his hand and broke his wrist in four different places. He said, "Now, while it's healing up, you can think about it." So
oof,
we didn't call the police on him, and these dudes trying to rob us, you know. Who
yeah.
are you? Oh, I watch you all the time. Yeah, okay. So it's kind of like be careful who you mess with. This is the
Right,
guy that put
exactly.
the she and bent the tire iron.
Yeah, your brother. But
Yeah, but
talk
he
to us
was
about people.
almost 70 then. So, it's
Mhm.
like be careful who you're messing with. Somebody might be able to really get their John Wick on and you way over your head.
Well, Judge, I want you to talk about this our Second Amendment rights that are being always put on the table, saying should we have these with the liberals?
Oh, look, they're
Speak
cowards.
to us about
See,
that
these punk asses, they want
because the
us to
criminals
be.
will still have guns
Yeah,
if
well,
they can
see, do
talk.
you expect somebody who doesn't mind murdering you and risking life in the penitentiary or the death penalty,
Yeah,
he's going to be deterred from carrying his hardware?
thank
It's
you.
going to be the ordinary citizen who would. Now, the truth of the matter is
Yes,
this:
talk on it.
when the Constitution was passed, not the Constitution, when the Declaration of Independence was signed 250 years ago, day before yesterday, what wound up happening was there was no such thing as a police department. There were no police. The only law enforcement officer was the sheriff of a county, and he was expected to be able to take any able bodied male in his community, and that was from 15 to 60, and say, I deputize you. And that person was
Right,
expected to have his armaments and be proficient with them.
right,
That is a check and a balance. You have the judiciary, the legislative body, and you have the executive branch, and there's supposed to be a check and balance. You have the state and the federal government. You have the citizenry who is armed, and they not suffer, they serve as the ultimate check and balance against an oppressive government. We have rights of self defense, which this clown Anthony just blew all to hell and gave a bad name to.
right.
And what that means is you don't need an oppressive government to protect you. You can protect yourself. So that keeps government from being so intrusive, getting into everybody's business to protect them, that they can be a free people. Now, when you transgress on that and start saying, I want big brother or slash tranny big sister to protect me, what you're really doing is setting up a situation where they can impose a sociology or a political situation using lawfare, and the Bill of Rights is thrown by the wayside, and they use the prosecutorial power of the state to oppress and punish and censor. You get a real live mess. So it was called the manly art of self defense. Fight like a man, fight
Right.
fair, mandatory 8 count, the Marquis of Queensberry's rules of boxing. You got 10,000 folk trying to kill each other, and somebody holds a white flag.
Oh, we lost him again. Uh-oh, he's back. Okay. Are you getting call? Are you getting phone calls? Because I can't hear you. Uh-oh. We can see you. Let me tell him to put it on airplane mode. Can you hear me, Judge? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Judge Joe Brown? You can hear me? Can you hit thumbs up? Okay. Put your phone on airplane mode. I can't hear you. We have no audio. We can't hear you. We don't hear you, Judge. I'm going to have to. Judge. Yes, he's going to come out and come in. It's a real treat having him here. Who is this in the chat? Yeah, he's probably getting phone calls. He's probably getting phone calls, and that's what's going on. I'm going to tell him to refresh. Let's see. We have him back.
Okay.
Judge, are you getting phone calls?
That was a phone call. The rest of them weren't.
Put your thing on
I know I've got it on
airplane.
do not disturb. It seems some people are so anxious that they do it anyway, and out of this phone won't stop it. But anyhow,
Okay.
where was I?
We were talking about
the Second Amendment. The
Right.
Second Amendment backs up the first. The first is, as long as you can have free dialogue and unlimited free speech, then you can reach a consensus and work things out without everybody having to arm up and shoot it out. You have the Second Amendment so you can keep somebody at bay so they don't try to set up a repressive government that'll allow free speech. The Third Amendment to the Constitution, there's never been a case involving it in the country's history, and it involves quartering troops, not in time of war. The Fourth Amendment's got to do with search and seizure, but the far left wants to knock that out because they think they should be able to come in and look at what you're doing, whatever you're doing. And then there's the Fifth Amendment that sets up due process against the federal government and the right to remain silent, to have an attorney, and all, et cetera, et cetera. And so many, including the attorney generals for major metropolitan areas. Now, some people want to knock that out. The Republicans used to trample on it a bit because they were in the law and order. The Democrats have put the Republicans in a position where, being the targets of lawfare, they now appreciate the Bill of Rights a lot more. And lo and behold, they are vividly, avidly, and enthusiastically trying to protect the Bill of Rights. The Democratic Party and the far left has taken their lawfare for a different slant. Instead of law and order, what they're trying to do is suppress free speech and the exercise of the liberties that come from being a member of this republic so that they can impose something on you. Now, that's something that they're trying to impose, and you see it with the promotion of the Anthony position. It is getting rid of public peace, dignity, and order. Teen Takeover is popular. They only stole $980 from the store, so they shouldn't be prosecuted. All right.
Right. Right.
You get into no ethics, morality, sense of purpose. It's all about your thrill and experience. No duty, honor, and obligation. Just do what you want to do. Men don't have to get up and give their seat up in the lifeboat to women and children. All right. No duty, honor, integrity, no courage and bravery. Oh, it's okay to run, to be a coward. It's okay to be a coward and kill somebody because you're scared to stand up to them and get a bloody lip, broken nose, loose tooth, or a black eye.
Right.
You see, that's what we have. We have the imposition of that kind of unmanly, that kind of cowardly outlook, which is never before been this widespread anywhere in the world. The People's Republic of China 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, 4 years ago, had a man up campaign. The former Soviet Union, Russia, had had a man up campaign to recruit for their armed services. We had one where we were showing cartoon animations of males still with balls bouncing and dicks swinging, trying to pick out the appropriate skirt and dress because they were tranny flag officers, meaning admirals and generals. And that was just disgusting. Like, what the hell is this?
In the service?
Yes, in the service. They
What?
used to have posed pictures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 flag officers, admiral, general, this and the other, and they've got on skirts and dresses. Like, what the hell am I looking at? And I
That's
had
crazy.
2 mommies, and now blah 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 blah. My girlfriend and I, and we're in the service. Oh, what the hell is that? This
Do you,
kind of thing. That's where they were going.
do you believe that people who are what is your position on same-sex relationships and marriage? Do you think they should have the rights?
Well, let me put it this way.
Yeah, I want to hear from you.
For a number of reasons, and one of them is a funny one, it had to do with some trial representation. Um, get your freak on in the bedroom. That's your business and your business only, as long as you're not killing somebody. All right. Um, but when you start trying to use the government to impose it on everybody else, it's everybody's business. Now, why should you be allowed to get your freak on in your bedroom? 45 years ago, I had a series of cases I was defending, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm selecting a jury, right? And I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
to him, Lawyer Brown, you got to be kidding me. Sir, defense is kidding you not. You can't be real. Uh, defense believes it is. You might want to check with his honor. Your Honor, is this true? Could my wife and I get 3 to 15 years in the penitentiary for going down on each other? Oh, yes,
Mm-hmm.
sir. That's what the law says in Tennessee. You
Wow.
got to be kidding me. That's what we here for? Yes. There's no rape or anything like that involved. This man was caught by his ex who brought in some police while they weren't looking, going down, or let's put it this way, to be polite, they
Mm-hmm.
were doing a 69 number with each other on the couch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we're here today to decide whether they get 3 to 15 years in the state penitentiary
Right.
and a minimum fine of $2,500.
Mm.
Now, of
Yeah.
course, they walked. The jury nullified that. There was no way in hell. And 2 years later, they changed the law. But you see,
Okay.
that's what I'm talking about. Get your freak on in your bedroom. It's your
Right.
business, nobody else's, because that transcends whatever your particular orientation is. But when you
Mm-hmm.
start trying to teach a new secular theology like it's a religion,
And
think
impose it.
Buddhism.
You're
Think
imposing.
Buddhism.
You have to
Buddhism is an ancient and honorable religion, but it has no God to it. You can have one or not have one, and which one you pick is your business. Same thing with this rainbow. It's a system of philosophy that negates all of these things I just spoke about that we deem to be good character. All right. And that's what it is. It's so if you're a boy, you don't have to get up and give your seat up to a girl and a child, a lady and a child on a lifeboat. When the Titanic goes down, you don't have to stand on the wall and man the wall and protect the people with your life. And people say, oh, it's not like that. Yes, it is. It's a very dangerous situation because you push this punk cowardice and you go out here where a lot of us live and you can't go to the gas station without somebody trying to hold you up. You can't go to a restaurant because it's closed down. You can't go to a grocery store because somebody's likely to hold you up or act a fool out in the aisle someplace. You can't go a lot of places. There are no nightclubs, no restaurants, no nothing because of high crime. And that's because of tolerance, because somehow or another crime's supposed to be all right. It's not.
right.
And we have to have law and order, and every people on this planet has law and order. Now, I remember about 14, 15 hours worth of conversation in total that I had with the next high king of Swaziland, meaning the next high king of the Zulus. He's one of Shaka Zulu's direct descendants. He's going to be the king and his brother's going to be his prime minister. They have two tests that they have to pass, one test that they both have to pass together in order to assume the throne in that other position. They have to kill a Cape buffalo with a sword and a spear.
Mm.
They've already killed their lions.
Oh, wow. We lost him on the good part. All right, everybody. Peace. Thank you for being here. Please hit the like button. We will be having the judge back soon. He has a little tech difficulty, but I showed the video for those who haven't seen it. You know, it shows in under that tent, under that awning, and the action did not warrant the reaction. The action of Metcalf didn't warrant that. But what we're dealing with is young males who just aren't, like the judge said, they don't want to fight. And I don't advocate for fighting, but if you're not, if you're in a situation where
Yeah.
you have to
You can see, let me just say this to your audience because I'm going to have to leave, but you can do what you want to do. But all of humanity has had an assessment for courage and bravery. And that's why we honor our heroes. If you want to be a coward, fine. If you want to excuse cowardice, that's fine. If you want to,
oh man, he was cooking. That was a great closeout. Oh, I hope we can get him back. We got you. We got you. We see you. No audio. No. We do not have the audio with you right now, Judge. Maybe you can get on work on that. But this has been great. I didn't want to cut him off too much because I love just listening to him. We got an elder in here, a lot of wisdom, a lot of wisdom. I hope I could bring him back.
if you want to go there and become a coward
Mm.
and discard all of those things that have been listed as human character traits that are noble, go right ahead. That's why you will have no respect from anybody as long as you say these things. Uh, the world is going to change inside of the next decade. And because of that 14th Amendment decision, the process is going to be accelerated. Right now, you have more Hispanics in Georgia than you have black folk.
Wow.
Right now, you have many more Hispanics in California than you have black folk. Right
Mm,
now, you have almost as many Hispanics in the city of Memphis as you have black folk. So that was not the case 15 years ago. So when you start talking about running a guilt trip on what white people owe you,
right.
the Hispanic community does not think they owe you a damn. And if anything, what you think you'd like, they'll get because they will have the largest minority and the heaviest voting bloc. So it's too late now because there is no earthly way you can litigate something like reparations, but you would have to have a political act passed through the House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate. The Black Caucus is wasted decades pushing rainbow instead of black, and it's too late. So uh, hopefully, maybe a miracle will occur, but I doubt it. So in 5 to 7 years, you're going to have a very different political landscape. And a lot of us are not going to be able to cope with the consequences. So I
Yeah.
suggest you start investigating these things. And when you start complaining about what's going on, just look at those things as adversity. It's not a big lion or a big bear or a pack of wolves trying to eat you for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or a midnight snack. It's your fellow human, and we have had a long tradition of the hunter to deal with the wild animals and the warrior to deal with people who are adverse to your interest. So start thinking more like a warrior. And when you start thinking like a warrior, understand that the first thing that a warrior did was educate himself in a lot of things. So it is uncool to be an ignoramus. It boosts your mind. Don't just try to get your John Wick on, but if you look at John Wick, you'll find out he is an educated person himself.
Mm,
So understand the nobility of education and being able to earn a living in the world you find yourself in. This is the second quarter of the 21st century, not the
yes.
first quarter.
Yes.
So get ready for it and start preparing yourself for it and start dealing with the political modifications that are going to quickly come. And also, those of you who are jumping up and down, oh, Trump got what was coming to him, he got slapped down. Trump can get what he wants done. It's just he'll have to go through Congress rather than issuing an executive order, which is the real gist of those opinions. But what happened with you to black folk is while you were applauding Trump getting slapped down, you just applauded speeding up the process of losing most of your political clout, not in 20, 25 years, but in somewhere between 7 and 15.
No, Judge, thank you so much for that. I just love your wisdom. I love the how you're no nonsense. I do want to ask you one last question because I recall I have had conversations here, and there's a gentleman. I won't shout his name out, but he's an older gentleman, and he always talks about how the white man is in control of everything, and he's a good brother. He's hardworking. We lost him. Dang, I wanted him to answer I wanted him to talk to me. Judge, talk to, oh, goodness. Come on, we got to get you back. I got to hear your last about how we are all, the judge talking about it's the 21st century. Still have people here. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna let you in just a minute because I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. Judge Joe Brown.
Yes. Hello.
Okay. Well, yes, I can hear you. We can hear you, but we can't see you. Can you hear me? Oh, darn. Oh, man. This was the
Can you
last
see
call.
me?
I can hear you, and I see you. I want to ask you, speak to someone who says the white man controls everything. We have no power. We
Bullshit. Don't punk out on me. I'm not
are.
even going past that whole thing. I'm sick of that shit. Get your ass together Put your nose in a goddamn book, learn what you need to learn, and start exercising power, start exercising your mind, start exercising your martial arts skills and get some. Be brave and look at the opportunity to take on adversity in a new world which is looming right in front of your face. You've got all these people who look at this as a land of opportunity coming over here, displacing our tired asses who are whining about white supremacy. Bullshit. You opportunity to do whatever in the hell you do. Just sit down and put your nose in some books and get the knowledge. Go perfect your skills and tactics. It'll be all right.
Thank you so much, Judge Joe Brown, the Honorable Judge Joe Brown. I need to bring you back. Will you promise in front of everybody that you will come back soon?
I will, and I'd like to bring on my candidate if you don't mind, Ms. Charlotte Kennedy, not Kennedy. That's somebody else I know. Ms. Charlotte Bergman. She's running for Congress, and she's likely to be the first black congressman and congressperson in 20 years in Tennessee, thanks to the redistricting. We had a gay white Jewish guy who has been the congressman from the 9th district for 20 years. He retired when he saw the handwriting on the wall, and the only thing he's done is bring in a piece of legislation that makes where he eats lunch in the congressional cafeteria have to use paper straws. That's all he's done in 20 years. So, yeah, a lot of
I don't like
blacks
paper
benefit.
straws.
Yeah, well, that's what he did to be ecologically conscious. So, other than that, he's done nothing for the Memphis area in 20 years.
Bring her back.
So, yes, I'd like to bring her on if you don't mind. Charlotte Bergman with 2 N's.
Charlotte Bergman.
And I'll have her contact you.
I would love to meet her. I'm going to contact you after this. Yes, well, I will be contacting you after this. You're free.
Okay, I haven't been on in a while.
Those who didn't like it, it's a tough pill to select.
I don't care whether you like it. It's advice. You can like it or not. But the law is the law. The world is the world. And you can become wise in the ways of the world, even if you're not learned and experienced in the law. Get ready for the real world. It's not like your mama put in front of your face where she gave you options. The world doesn't give you any except to succeed, fail, or make it somewhere in the middle. So it's on you as to what you do. It doesn't care. It's not fair unless you make it fair.
There you have it. You, Judge, have a beautiful afternoon. See you again soon. Thank you so much. Thank you. The Honorable Joe Brown. Yes, we will talk to you again soon. We will see you soon. See your way out if you know how to.
I know how to get out.
I know you do a lot of these.
Bye.
All right, have a good day, Judge. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. That was Judge Joe Brown. He was dropping some tough bombs on the community. He was talking about some tough things, Suntan. I don't want to get you. I didn't want to get him to beat you up. So
you can't beat me up. Only thing I can do is respect him. You know.
Yeah. So
I'm a free thinker, baby.
I know. So Suntan, you heard what he said, because I was really referencing a lot of your rhetoric when you say, like, the white man is in control and all that stuff. So what do you think?
Go ahead.
No, what do you think about Judge Joe Brown saying there's no excuses in the 21st century?
Judge Joe Brown is a little arrogant. That's what I would say. Because right now, and I was just talking to my pastor. I've been with him for over like 50 years. And here's the thing. I understand your point of view as far as you not thinking that the white man in control, but really in reality, he is. That's the bottom line. I would argue Joe Brown all the way back to the barn and back. Because, hey, Napah, how about this? I know you in Arizona, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Every time you see in a new structure built, I'm talking about with these big monster machines and these high-rise structures with complex places, who's building those all over the United States? Like, I'll give you an example. Downtown, we had a store. You know what Hudson's is? Hudson's department store, right? You ain't never heard of Hudson's?
We don't have Hudson's here.
Huh?
We don't have that here, but I'm
okay. Well, Hudson's is a big retail store. So what they did was tore it down and they made a new Hudson's down in the middle of downtown Detroit. And it's like higher than the Renaissance. The Renaissance was a higher building, which was built. All I'm saying is, let me skip past all of that. The people who's in control of building these monstrosities all over the United States are white. And their corporation, they have group white. I'm telling you, and that's
but you're making it like it's a race thing. It
is a race thing.
Corporation thing. In the 21st century, we can't tell Black people you don't have a shot because white
they do have a shot. I'm just saying who in the lead now.
You've said it's that a Black person can't get ahead.
I didn't say that.
Because of white supremacy. I
didn't say that
several times.
No,
so
I didn't.
You don't talk about white supremacy?
Of course I do, because white supremacy. And then here's another thing. I'm glad you said that. White supremacy.
So how is white supremacy going to stop a Black person from being the most successful that they can be?
If he go in their direction and they want to stop him, they can, but they don't care.
But that has nothing to do with race. They'll stop a white person as well.
Because listen, Napah, how old I mean, I don't want to ask you that, but you're a grown lady. You ain't seen the hand right. You ain't seen the elephant in the room since you've been a baby girl.
There's not. I'm not muted.
Well, now it's your voice coming in and out for some reason.
Oh, am I breaking up?
No breaking up. You just was talking and your mouth was moving, but wasn't no sound.
Oh, okay. So let me try to.
You good now? For some reason.
Okay. It's a new world where it's not about race. It is about the power structures that are in place. They don't care if you're Black. They don't care if you're Asian. They don't care if you're white. Oh, I'm breaking up?
I'm no breaking up. You just be talking and then it'll be silent while your mouth.
I probably have a delay. My point is, it's not that they're oppressing us because of our race. It's a different type of oppression. It's because of our social and financial status.
That's a part of it.
So we can't say because of our race.
Yes. Wow.
We have to be smarter, actually get educated. We have to actually
be.
If you are the sheep, you have to be smarter than the wolf.
Can I say something?
Yeah, but if you're the sheep, you have to be smarter. My mom, before you say something, my mother used to tell us the story of the 3 little pigs and the wolf. She would extend the story. It was it wasn't just about, the brick house, the straw house.
Mm-hmm.
She would tell us a longer version of the story where the wolf would go to the little pig's house and say, "Hey, little pig," the brick house, because he couldn't get in.
Mm-hmm.
Say, there's a Farmer John has a sale on, he's giving away apples for a penny a bushel and a penny a basket. And then he said, "Why don't you come down there with me at 8 a.m. and we'll get the bushel of apples." So the little pig played along and he said, "Okay, I'll come," because he knew the wolf just wanted him to come out and so he could eat him. Mm-hmm. So he couldn't fight the wolf, he wanted the apples. So instead of him going at 8 a.m., my mom told us a story where the little pig would go at 6 or 7 a.m. and he'd get his apples. And when the wolf showed up at 8, thinking he's the weaker, the prey, the pig said, "Oh no, I don't want to go because I already went down early, Mr. Wolf, and I got my apples." What am I trying to say? If you know that there's a power structure that wants to eat you and wants to devour you and get rid of you, you have to be smarter than the wolf. You have to say, I'm weak to the wolf. I can't fight the wolf, but I'm going to be smarter than the wolf, and I'm going to go get the apples that wolf said are out there for me. He thinks that he's going to get me, but I'm going to get him. Like the saying, fish jumped off the hook. You have to be smarter. So you can't go around saying, "Oh, it's about my race. It's about my race." You get what I'm saying? I'm glad you let me paint that picture. So you can have the mic now, but that's
Okay. Now here's
my point.
Here's the point, sister. The wolves, I'm just elaborating, then I'm gonna go to my point. The wolves are gonna always be there, whether they are smarted or not. And what I'm saying, they built the framework of the wolves are around and the wolves is there. We have to outsmart them. We noticed, Napah, we had Black Wall Street, we had Seneca Park, we had Hastings Street in Detroit. We had this everywhere that we put ourselves up by our bootstraps. We were torn down by white supremacy. Stephen Miller, when what's his name got shot in the neck, Charlie Kirk got shot in the neck. Stephen Miller, we had a Silver Dome down here in Michigan where the Lions used to play. Huge. It was called the Silver Dome. Stephen Miller had a place bigger than that, full of white supremacists under the point of Jesus, under the flag of Jesus, saying they Christ-fearing people, talking about how they are going to overcome. Look how he talking, and they all rich. We are going to overcome, we're going to dominate, and we're going to get revenge for Charlie Kirk. And as I look in this room, because you know me, you know my mindset, I'm looking all around just to spot one black guy, and I'm not foolish enough to call him an Uncle Tom, because I'm glad, man, you having a discussion right on air, and I want everybody to hear this. If anybody call you an Uncle Tom, feel proud, because Uncle Tom was the guy who was helping the slaves out in the, see, it's a lot of people don't know that, and they use the wordplay for Uncle Tom to make people seem like Uncle Tom was the bad guy, when Uncle Tom helped the raped slaves, he helped the runaway slaves. Who didn't help the slaves was the coon out in the field with them. He'll tell when they get ready to run, or if he hears sight or anything running. So when I get to my point is this right here. We're in a race, right? And that in America, and I'm gonna use this America, because Frederick Douglass would tell you the 4th of July wasn't meant for me, it wasn't meant for you, it was meant for these forefathers who built this narrative that white is supreme, and they stuck a stigma on us as being 3/4 of a man. We wasn't even human. If you was real funny looking or offbeat kind of looking, you were in a circus. This was back in the 30s and 40s. They would put you in a circus and show you all. And they did this to black people. So what I'm saying, the history is there. It don't need, I'm just a naysayer. I got my lens and it's focused in. And look, white people, some white people, I'm gonna make a blanket statement, are beautiful people. They look at John Brown. It's a lot of white people who don't care about race, but it's more who do. And I just put up a video of how they just covered Washington. They came 200 or 300 strong with masses on, shouting white supremacy and at Washington, D.C. on the 4th of July. So what I'm trying to tell you is we can act like it don't exist, and we can act like it can't hurt you. But when it comes down to the financial benefit, because of its financialism and hate, which white supremacy lives on, and then they stand under the flag of being God-fearing Christians. So they really, yes, and I'm sure you understand that. So I'll cut my diatribe right now, and I'm going to keep my eyes open. And one thing that Judge Brown did say was right. A lot of us need to get educated, just like I had educated myself, right? You got to learn a trade is really better than a job, because off that trade, you can eat for the rest of your life. You get the right trade, electricity, carpenter, any kind of trades like that, plumber. I did heating and cooling, electrician. Any of these trades can have you feeding your family for the rest of your life. That's in the Bible even tell you, don't feed a man to fish. He said, teach him how to fish, and that way he can eat forever. So my point is this: we have a lot of educated Harvard. We always been smart and good, but we always been held back. All these college, Harvard, all these college institutions. We really proud. One black guy got to go to Harvard. You know, but we went and got our own college. We went and got Morehouse and things like that. We can make it, and we making it. The point of the matter is, we still have obstacles to jump. So.
Well, there's always going to be obstacles.
No, these are huge obstacles.
Not
America is yes.
They're not huge.
Okay, go ahead.
No, they're not huge obstacles anymore because there's more than just white people who are ambitious. These black people have paved the way. Yes. It's been built on the backs of the blood and the sweat and the tears of black people with the civil rights movement. That is who paved the way. But now all of the work that black people have done in this country for everyone, you can't sit back and say, well, I can't do it because the white man's stopping me. That's my point.
Who said that?
Of course, there's race. Well, that's what you're putting out there because you're
that
saying
ain't what I'm putting out there.
You're talking about how strong the white man is and white
supremacy. Right.
And that's the problem.
It ain't a problem with me. I'm still making it.
It's not like that anymore.
Oh, yes, it is.
It's not like that anymore. Meaning,
I beg the difference.
Meaning that a white person cannot stop an Asian, can't stop a Native American, can't stop a Hispanic, can't stop a black man or woman from achieving whatever they set themselves out to achieve in this world. And a lot has to do because of what black people have done in the civil rights movement, with the help of Jews and Mexicans, but primarily black people made the changes in this country so everyone can have a fair shot. So if someone sits back and says, oh, I can make that because the white man stopped me. It's not the 60s.
Nobody would never say that.
Well, that's kind of what you're saying. It's not the 60s.
No, I'm making a blanket statement, Napah.
Well, it's now financial discrimination. It's now discrimination in a different way. It's more socio-political than saying, okay, it's just because you're black. There are factors of racism. When you said the thing about the white supremacists with the rally after Charlie Kirk, yeah, there's white supremacy, but that's not stopping black people or any people from achieving what they want to achieve in life.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
So if you agree, then we shouldn't push the rhetoric about
it's not rhetoric. It's the truth. See, I'm gonna put it like this. Let me say this.
Wait. When I say rhetoric, no. When I say yes, I'd like to finish. When I say rhetoric, Suntan, I mean your stance on what your speech is, and your stance is the white man is so powerful that we must focus, or don't forget that the white man has so much power. The white man has so much power. No. It's we're not going to do that with this. The generation that we have today, these kids, because of white supremacy, these teenagers, these people in college, they're not unsuccessful because of white supremacy. They're unsuccessful. They have been uneducated. They are not informed. They don't have the right guidance. And once they do get educated and get the right guidance, they will be able to be. We've had a black president, one of the best presidents that I think our nation has seen. So I don't get where we're talking still that whole, because the white man is so powerful. That's an statement and rhetoric that only makes black people not trying to shoot for the stars. We have Neil deGrasse Tyson. We have astrophysicists who are adored and praised, and they're black people. We don't have to sit around and go, well, the white man's so powerful. The white man is not so powerful. You know what's powerful? The money. The money is powerful. That's what it is.
That's all I'm trying to tell you. They didn't co-opt the resources. I'm talking about why would we sit here and bow to the King of England and his King Charles? Because let me finish. His great grandfather, or however far it go back, they raided Africa, and they raided and pillaged and pillaged, and they took all of the resources that they could, and they built a kingdom on it, and they called themselves kings and queens, and now they sitting there living the best life that they can, and they getting the most respect. They could go over in Africa and have our own people bow down to them. Some of them. It's just really ironic that, you know, a lot of the things that you're saying in our conversation, with all due respect, you're putting a lot of extra in what I'm saying. My point is this right here. Yeah, you adding a lot of extra to it, but my point is this right here. The stigma, listen, the stigma is there. It's been a stigma placed upon, and guess what? I agree with you 100%. That's why we are steady striving and getting better and better year by year, because they cannot stop us. Right?
No, exactly. They can't stop
but at the same time, you got to look at the elephant in the room and keep your eye on the prize all the time. You got to do it. Because
what do you mean the elephant in the room?
That's the white supremacy. That's the elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room is not white supremacy. It's right there blatantly. Everybody's talking about it.
We disagree. That's my opinion.
Everybody's talking about white supremacy, but white supremacy isn't it anymore. Racism
in the
is around.
Words, it's not.
Yes, we have racism.
But in my words, it still is. All right, so that's it. We can, and Nepal, we can disagree.
No, I know. I'm not talking about this, but I'd like to say that we can't. Yes, there is no white supremacy any longer. We can't, and when I say that, I mean someone who has money. Like I keep thinking of Elon Musk. We're not going to look at him as a trillionaire and say, oh, because he's white, that's why, and he's going to take care of all white people. Racist. I saw him do the Nazi salute, so I'm going to go out on a limb and say probably, but it's not because of his whites, his race. It is because of his power with the money, where has been.
How did he get the money?
Exactly. How did he get it? From okay, on the surface, it was an upstart. Okay, it was an upstart. Any black person can do that. Any Asian person can do that. Amazon, PayPal, Facebook, black people, Asian people, Asians, blacks. No, Asians, blacks, Native Americans.
I just don't see how you're so blind.
You can do exactly the same thing. But the thing is, once they get that money, you know who gave them the money first?
Dang.
You know where they got their money? Involved with the government. Before Elon Musk had this foothold in the government, he was just getting his money from the regular schmegular Joe Schmo in society. They gave him.
They made him a millionaire.
Money. That's why when you look at, they made him a millionaire. The people did. Let me say this.
Right.
Mr. Beast is a billionaire just from YouTube. It's not because he's white. It's because the people loved him. And then what happens with government, if you want to talk about power structures, they said, that guy has power. We're going to get him in bed with us. We want him to be a part of us. But the thing is, people can say, no, I'm still going to be for the people. I'm not going to be in the power structure. So black people, Native Americans, whites, anybody, Asians, anybody can be powerful. It's then when you start deciding who you want to get in bed with, so to speak. Once you get the power from the people, you have to make a choice. I'm gonna support the people. I'm gonna pay the people back, or I'm gonna go be a part of that, fade into the Windsor, House of Windsor, or the government, the deep state, dark web, or whatever. Not dark web, but like the the government that is against the people and only wants to be the bloodsuckers, that conspiracy. What I'm trying to say is everybody in America starts out as just you and me, an individual. Oprah Winfrey started. Anybody you think of, Michael Jordan, he was an individual. These are now entities. And the reason they're entities is because the people, they had something that the people wanted. And the people built them up, and they built themselves up, and the people built them up, and then they became this government power, so to speak. And
let me say something.
And that is my point. You can't say the white man is the power. The white man is the power. Well, Oprah's just a puppet for the white man. No, she's not a puppet for the white man. Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jordan. You know, Michael Jordan gets, because he was smart. You know that he gets what, $1 billion a year from Nike? Because he was a smart black man who said, I'm not just going to be a basketball player and I'm just going to have them endorse this product. I'm going to get the money. I'm going to get the power. So he is the government of himself. No one doing anything. If Michael Jordan wanted to run for president, he could probably win.
Nah.
No white man is stopping. White man is stopping him. No white man is stopping him. We all have our own power now. No, I'm saying a lot because I love you, Suntan, but brother, you're from another era, and so I'm from another era, but I understand.
It's fine. We can disagree, but your ideals are just not realistic.
You have a son who's in his 20s. I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm trying to get through to you. You have a son in his 20s. How can you imagine your son is the future? I tell my children, you can do anything. You don't have to be one thing anymore. You can be an astronaut. You can be an artist. You can be a business person. You can be anything you want to be in this world. But no, you're telling your son, oh, the white man is the real reason we're not making it. You're telling your son.
See, there you go again, Napah. You telling me what I'm telling my son, and you don't know what I'm telling my son.
No, I'm not saying just your son. I'm saying you're telling my son. You're telling the youth. White power.
I'm not telling it. Me and you having this conversation. I don't have this conversation with other people like this.
No, but I'm saying you're out here. You're in the algorithm. But
right, absolutely.
There is no white power anymore. There's no more white power.
Yes, and let me explain to you. Let me have the floor.
Now you said there is white power, right?
Absolutely. Look what they did. Look what they did to Bill Cosby. Look what they did to Michael Jackson. Look what they did. Michael Jordan's only great because of his talent. They making money as well as he making money off of him. And I'm gonna tell you, like I said, they can stop you anytime they want to. Bill Cosby was finna buy NBC, and then the walls came in. People coming out of nowhere talking about what he did.
Bill Cosby was drugging women.
Listen. Harvey Weinstein. No.
Answer my question. I'm gonna give them. Was he
found? Yeah, that allegedly.
No, not allegedly. He was convicted.
Well, whatever. That ain't what I'm saying.
He said it on Larry King. He said you got to put a little something in her drink.
Okay, good. So now you
Bill Cosby.
So that causes him. Listen, Napah, let me tell you like this. The same way that
I want you to point that out. Did Bill Cosby grape women?
No.
So he wasn't drugging women?
No. I mean, he may have been putting something in. I don't care. But they was there.
You don't care?
No. Because they was there. Okay, he didn't drag nobody with him. How you get a groupie?
No.
Anytime you famous, you get a groupie. You get a bunch of groupies.
Suntan, yes, you do. Them. Suntan, he was.
You got to grow up, Napah. Really.
I got to grow up, Suntan.
Yes.
He was putting drugs in their drinks.
Who else was? What do you think about Hugh? How would you compare Hugh Hefner to P. Diddy?
Hugh Hefner was not convicted of drugging women.
That's right, because they don't let that get out.
See, there you go. That's a problem right there, Suntan.
It's not a problem. That's facts.
Women came. Bill Cosby drugged me and had sex with me.
You said what now?
Women came forward in hundreds of women. I'm going to say they came forward and they said Bill Cosby put
well,
something.
Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is a bad example. I don't want to talk about the past.
Well,
I understand the future. See, what you're saying is a non-sector because you haven't seen you talking about there's no white supremacy and
I
no
didn't
white.
say what I'm saying. I said there's no white power.
Oh, it's white power.
No white supremacy.
I tell you what. Let me just listen.
Actually, I'm going to say to us getting something done with our lives, it's a non-factor.
Okay, let me say this to you. Have you ever heard of
supremacy, power over us that stops us from getting what we need to get done? There's no power.
Oh, absolutely. You ever heard of redlining?
I've heard of gerrymandering, redlining.
So what do you think that does to a people?
Discrimination.
What do you think that does to a people?
It's all out there. Yes, it's there. And
right. So you got to have power to do that.
Guess what? No.
Guess what?
Our black people who fought against that have.
It's still happening now.
No, opened it up. Listen, and guess what? And guess what happens?
What?
We stop it. Once we see it happening, we stop it. So how if we can stop it, how is it holding us back? When we see discrimination, we point it out. We have
let me tell you something.
Civil rights activists that said, "Hey, this is discrimination."
Well, I'm gonna just let you think the way you want to think, and this is I'm sure people love this conversation because it's good. It's good.
It is good. I like talking to you about this.
Yeah, and it's great.
You're not
because,
the only one that thinks
at the same time we having this conversation, you could be empowering people, black people, right? And what I'm doing is putting their guards up as well, letting them know not to relax and think everything is hunky dory because it's not.
Why can't they relax?
Because you got to go take care. You got to take care of business. Why do black
people have to walk around paranoid and think,
come on,
did I not get that job because I was black? No. Why should black people have to do that?
You're a good character.
Why should black people have to do that? Why?
I like when you do your little voices and
I'm just saying content. What good is it?
You stereotype black people. That's what you do.
I stereotype black people.
Yes.
I think you stereotype black.
I stereotype white people.
You said black. You stereotype black people. You said we should all be afraid. We should
all be. You said that. I said. I said we should be watchful. That's what those was my word. When you play the tape, you will see what I said. You like that. You just add a little to it from your ideal. But I understand what I'm saying, and then you can play this back, and you will see. You're gonna be, okay. He didn't say that. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact of the matter is, you got, and then listen to Paul. The Bible even tell you that you got to watch as well as pray. So you got to be watchful. If the strong, listen.
You think I don't experience racism?
That ain't what I'm trying to say. I'm making a blanket statement.
No,
because this conversation is not directed at you.
No,
saying this is what you should do.
Talk about me. Do you think that
I keep doing what you're doing because that's what you want to do?
I was recently in a department store last week, and I had a bunch of items in my cart. And because everybody shoplifts, let me say this out here right now.
Do Oprah shoplift?
No.
What did they do to Oprah?
Hold on. Oprah didn't shoplift. Hold on.
But what did they do to her? Listen, I hate your thing. Keep doing
Hold that thought. I'm going to get to you. Oprah was discriminated against, but I'm going to make a point. Black people, black women are focused on, for some reason, that's racism. But am I walking around paranoid when I go to the store? No, I go in the store and shop. But black women are always focused on as the ones that are stealing. Black people in general, but especially black women. But everybody,
especially black men.
No, not especially black men. Black women.
I'm telling you, I'm a man.
It doesn't matter if you're a man. I live in the society that you live in. It's black women more than anybody in society. They focus on black women as far as shoplifting. Everybody in the whole world equally steals. Black people don't steal more than anybody. White people don't steal more. It's equal. However, they always focus on the Black woman. And then you see the media blow it up. She's getting wrestled down in Walmart. It's so all that propaganda is out there. So I'm in the store and I'm not even thinking about it though. See, Suntan? I don't think about it, even though I know it's a factor. I know that there's some prejudice out there. I'm not thinking people in the store are thinking that about me. However, when I go to the dressing room, there's 3 other people standing at that dressing room. The white racist, and I didn't know she was racist till she talked to me. The white racist employee came to me and said, you can't take more than 5 items into the dressing room. First off, it's 8 items, number 1. Number 2, she came to me and the way she said, my manager told me to tell you that you can't take more than 5 items. I said, wait, hold on. Why is your manager telling you to come tell me something about the dressing room and I haven't even gone in there? Oh, because you have a lot of stuff in your cart. That's racism. That's profiling. That's discrimination. You know what I did? I said to her, let me talk to your manager. And I went aside and I spoke to someone else because she said the manager wasn't there. What I told her is, I need your information because I'm a Karen, but I'm a good Karen. Okay. I said, I need your information. I need to take a picture of my cart. I'm going to send it to someone who's in charge of you and let them know the conversation that we had, that you approached me and profiled me. It was over. It was her personally. You know what the other employees, the white ones that were there, said to me? I'm so sorry that she did that to you. That was wrong. My point is, I can't say all white people across the board are racist because of one racist who profiled me. I can, though, which I did, send all that information to corporate, and I bet your bottom dollar they're going to do something about it, and I'm probably going to get, I don't know, $100 gift certificate or something like that. So Black people and all people, we encounter things as we go through life, but I'm not going to walk around and go, oh, they looking at me because I'm Black. I'm Black, that's why. No, once it happens, I'm going to address it. But if it never happens, I'm everybody else. Does it piss me off? Does it hurt my feelings? Yeah. But I know that my forefathers, meaning the civil people that fought for civil rights, like my family, Judge Joe Brown, they laid the groundwork to where you can't mess with people about their race and about their disability and about their sexual orientation anymore, unless you want to lose some money. You get what I'm saying? So I'm not going to tell Black people, oh, it's the white man's fault. The white man's going to get you. He's powerful. No, I'm powerful because I have the law on my side. And and you know what that comes with? It comes with intelligence. That's my point, Suntan. Okay. Thank you for letting me tell that story.
All right, good. Let me say this to you. So you think that America is just an level playing field?
As far as success,
as far as anything, America versus corporate, yes, everything.
It's level. I have power. Okay. I have my.
And I'm glad we having this diatribe because
no, not level playing field. It's a level card table.
Same thing.
You dealt your hand, and guess what? You're dealt your hand. I've dealt my hand. The white person dealt their hand, but I know how to use my cards and spades. I know how not to have to renege or have to underbid myself, play the game. So some other people need to be told, know how to play the game. Don't go around talking about, oh, the white man got all the power. He got all the power. He gonna win this game. He got the cards. He playing with the cards. He messed with the deck. He can't stop me from getting my books.
I think, and you know what? You're very intelligent, but I don't know how you missing my point. I can't see it. It's whether that you don't want to see it or no. I don't know. It's like let me give you a little. Let me make a quick summification. And then I'm gonna even go back to 1,000 years, 2,000 years. When you rape pillage the world. And when you pile up enough resources, whereas you can travel the world, and you understand we had a big, and I even heard you kind of go off on the drug scene as well. But we had a big explosion of drugs. And how did they get here? Did black men come over with a big boat and bring those drugs over here? We had a before they started making the Smith and Wessons and the gun and the poppy seeds that which grow over there. How did all of that stuff get to America? Did the black man go get it? No, but we became a victim of circumstances, because if you put 10 rats in a box and don't feed them for a week and throw a piece of cheese in there, they're going to be killing each other, going crazy, trying to get something to eat. So I'm going to leave it there. And you smart enough to make you smart enough to figure that out.
So we're rats.
No, see that, you know.
You said it.
I just made an example. I'm not, see, you think you are funny.
Said the rats.
I don't, okay, put a bunch of black people. No, I'll do you one even better. Put 10 white people in a big old mansion and don't feed them for a month. Then come in there with one turkey and said, go for it. Only the strong gonna survive.
Okay, but look at this. Watch this.
That's what you call projects.
Watch this. No, watch this. Listen. You take those same hungry people, and they've already been, before we got them hungry, we told them.
You can't build a perfect scenario.
No, what do you mean? You just gave us a scenario of a bunch of white people in a house.
Because that really happened. Okay. I just used color code.
So listen.
It really happened.
First, you have to build a foundation of the man himself or the woman herself.
It really happened, Napah. Okay. What I just told you.
Listen. You have to give people. You have to instill character. You have to.
How you going to instill character in people you enslave?
No. What?
That when you enslave a culture of people, and then they fight for unenslavement. Listen, they fight and they get free, and then you say, okay, you free, walk away from my house, my mansion where you worked all 20, 40 years. You take your family, you walk, and you headed down this dirt road without a penny. And then once you get 20 miles, they didn't made up a law to say, well, they ain't got a job, so we're going to lock them up for vagrancy.
Yeah, well, what is your point?
My point is that if you put in
that's why people should sell drugs.
You're going to do what you got to do to survive.
Stop right there. This is where you and I, the road parts. Because for me, the people that were released from after slavery and they had nowhere to go. And
they went to prison.
They were lied to. They didn't start doing
thing
crime.
Going out.
Hold on, don't
interrupt
just say,
me.
I knew you were going to interrupt me. I knew you were going to
because I didn't hear nothing. Your mouth was moving and no sound.
Okay, let me say this again. When the people were released, they didn't go do crime.
They did.
Why are you talking over me? No,
because
they didn't.
you saying stuff that's not correct.
No, you're not correct in history.
They were stealing chickens and everything.
No.
They was hungry.
Why are you talking over me right now?
You're wrong. You got to be realistic if you're going to talk to me, though.
No, you're absolutely wrong, though. The slaves that were released from slavery.
Keep talking. Go ahead.
Slaves who were released from slavery did not go into crime. They went into sharecropping. They tried to do an honest living and they were stopped. You're taking us all the way back to the 1800s, by the way.
That's where it started.
Stop. They did not go start stealing chickens. That's a lie. Did people have people stolen food to eat? Yes. But you were talking about a group of people in general and what happened in history. They tried to make an honest living and they were stopped from making an honest living. They were murdered. They were literally put into the devil's punch bowl in Mississippi. They weren't doing crime. They were not doing crime. You're talking about slavery. Those same people, my mother's father is one of them, a descendant of a slave, a direct child of a slave master and a slave woman. They went and they said, we got to stay in our lane. We got to be smart. We got to pull ourselves up. We got to make our own communities. We got to stay out of the way. And we're going to build ourselves up with all that they could do. Now, fast forwarding from my grandfather and then my father's father, who also was Black, Afro-Latino. He said, we're gonna fight for our rights. There's enough of us now that can say, you're not gonna stop us from doing something anymore. You did that in the past, but there's enough of us to say no more. And then there were white
I hear you, Napah.
people who said, yeah, there were white people that said, yeah, I agree. We can't do this to these people like our forefathers did. And that's called the civil rights movement.
Absolutely.
And now in America, because Black people gave their lives, they said at lunch counters, protesting, not sitting in the back of the bus, marching, dying, being through their lives and their families firebombed, night and day. They struggled. And then other people came in and helped them. Like I said, Jews, different white people. We didn't even talk about John Brown during slavery, but let's get back to the civil rights movement. But it was primarily Black people who said, we're going to do this. People loved Martin Luther King. People loved to see people fighting. Medgar Evers, even Malcolm X. These people gave their lives. They laid the groundwork. And they said, now our children do not have to be discriminated against and everybody just sits back because the law is going to protect them. Does that erase racism? No. But there is now a law that people can say, hey, you can't do this to Black people or Native American people or Asian people or Hispanics.
That's right.
And no, because you're all talking about, I'm getting to a point. You're like, so when they're hungry in the hood in the 80s, that's why they did drugs and sold drugs. No, my family didn't sell drugs. My friends that were their families that were working hard, they didn't sell drugs when their father was janitors and carton pushing grocery carts. They did an honest living. They did an honest living. And the ones who said, well, I got to sell drugs, those are the real sellouts. Okay. Those are the ones who said, you know what? I don't give a damn about Black people. CIA, give me those drugs and those guns. I want to terrorize my own people. I want to hook my friends' moms and my friend's grandfather and my friend's brothers and sisters on drugs. I want to be like the oppressive slave master that lords over my people. I don't want to say, no, I don't care how much money I need. I'm hungry. I'm going to work. I'm hungry. I'm going to get together with my people and we're going to feed each other. Those people who started selling drugs and gang banging, they're the real problem. You want to blame the white man? The Black man who sells sex, traffics young Black girls, he's the monster because he is doing it to his own people. Is he that weak of a man? We're going back to slavery. These men didn't have a damn thing. They had to laugh in a barrel if they didn't want to get their heads lobbed off. And they didn't go sell their people out. They didn't pimp their women out after they got out of slavery. But Negroes are weak, just like Judge Joe Brown said. And I'm not saying all Black men, because there's some Black men and women that agree with me, just like my family. He's want to cry and say, what could I do? I had to sell drugs because I was a rat for some cheese. You're a sellout. You're a problem. You're a cancer. You're a pariah. And we need to get rid of you because just because you're hungry, you think it's okay to pimp somebody's daughter out. Just because you're hungry, you think it's okay to go sell the government's drugs and kill your community. Just because you're hungry, you think it's okay to walk around with a AK-47 in the middle of the neighborhood. People scared to come out and do what they need to do because you're in the neighborhood. That's the problem. So no, all this stuff about rat and cheese.
Share my screen.
Do something besides make excuses for Black people who hate Black people. I don't hate Black people. When Black people hear me say, "Oh, you doing that," those are the problem. Stop selling drugs. Stop pimping women. Stop carrying guns around in neighborhoods where families shooting up proms because you weren't invited.
I agree.
This is why I turn up, because I'm gonna share your screen. I don't like how you make excuses for drug
I don't
deals.
I don't like your rhetoric. So we both go.
Well, brother,
right.
That's life. All
now we'll start at the top. After slavery, the United States, newly freed people, destruction, and emancipation granted, freedom, but no wealth, land, resources. Many did not have to steal, relying instead on the Freedom Bureau. Nation labor contracts. Read that again. What did you say? You cutting me off, please.
No, because I can't hear you. Read it again.
It was one of the good points you was making. Like I say, I don't totally disagree with.
So many. No, read it again for the audience.
You disagree. You interrupted me.
No, because I want you to read that again. Many didn't have to steal, right?
Many did not have to steal, relying instead on the Freedom Bureau. Rationale labor contracts for foreign. However, extreme starvation, disease, depression drove many people to theft to survive. Formerly enslaved people who granted freedom often faced extreme poverty, systematic barriers, making it difficult to secure food, livelihoods, while some may have resorted to stealing due to depression. It was not universal requirement. Many relied on community support, farming, or labor survival. The act of stealing was commonly associated with escaping slavery, as noted in historical accounts, with fleeing individual foraged and stole to survive, while the emancipation struggles were shaped by racism, landlessness, and the lack of resources, not inherently criminality. And see, you are giving us inherited criminality. That's what you are doing right now. That's what you are doing right now. You're giving us inherited criminality, and you sitting there throwing rocks at your own people, talking about what they doing, when in fact they have not had no psychological help through this whole 400 years of depression. How many people, instead of reparation, how many people went to psychiatrists and talked about it? Do you know anybody that did that? Well, the point of the matter is we was highly stigmatized and oppressed, and I hear it from I'm a reader and I'm a listener. So I do it every day. Nepal, I'm retired now, so I get to sit here by my computer and research everything that we talk about. And I'm gonna tell you right now, it don't make me no difference where I win a debate or a conversation with somebody or whether I lose. It make me no different. What it makes me is that I learn something from our discourse. Right. So I'm not trying to win a conversation, and I'm not trying to lose one either, because I stand on the grounds of, knowledge, and on the grounds of psychology and philosophical thinking. Yeah, that's how, because it's a mind thing. Just like you said, if they use their mind, they would profit more, right? Because I lived around the same situation you did. It was a lot of people pulled up by that Bruce that went to college, became doctors. I have friends right now, doctors. I have friends now who literally won the Super Bowl from Detroit. I can name them up to you now. I have friends who are very successful. And then on the flip end, I have friends who went and did 20 years, 10 years in jail. Everybody make their mistakes. But I'm not sitting there. I'm not going to just throw the baby out with the bathwater. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is just keep trying to be more knowledgeable and keep examining. If you feel
I like that about you.
Yeah, and if you keep philosophically discussing things and analyzing things, then you can get answers, right? Because I seek for answers now, and when I ponder, I see what you're talking about, and it's sad. So I understand the depression of our people, because I'm speaking of our people. I'm not speaking of the world. We have a problem here in America that's newsworthy every day, where our people are still fighting. And he a comedian, and I love him. And you didn't know it, I'm a comedian too, but you can't really tell. Yeah, I am. And you guys will be seeing an upcoming future.
I'm a comedian also.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, I have done stand-up comedy. Have you stand-up comedy?
I haven't done stand-up.
Yeah, I haven't. I have done it in clubs, and I'm steady writing right now, because in my retirement, I'm, like I said, I'm more philosophically.
I'd like to see some of your stand-up.
Oh yeah, well, no doubt. I did a little for Unknown, but I'm gonna say this and get away from it. I could say give a little bit out, because right now, the comedian world, only us comedians know, they pirate what you say, and they would steal it and use it and make money off of it if it's good. And a great comedian told me, he said, Rick, that's my nickname, Rick. Everybody call me Rick in the neighborhood. He said, Rick, I say, I'm gonna leave you with this one, guy. And he was not. He said, save it all for the stage. Don't just go around putting your material out, because even you heard from Mr. Cooper when he said Steve Harvey stole his stuff, and this was years and years. They do that. So let's get away from that. Mm-hmm. But like I say, I try to stay scientifically grounded and philosophically awake. I study life, all subjects, and I want to say this to you, because I understand how shy having you laying back when the dudes out there barking. I know you be wanting to get in, but they be, and they just bark. And Silas, he wants you to be back. And because they can get a little out of hand. But what I'm trying to say is this. Do you think that people, and I'm not going to even point at a religion. Do you think that people, or can you, and if you could, I would, because I've been searching myself. Can you sit here and show me a scripture that says you must defend God in any kind of way that you want to put it? Can you do that?
There's a scripture that says contend.
Not Peter, right? Okay, let me hear it.
Contend for the faith. It doesn't say defend God, but
that's what I'm saying. See, I'm being direct.
Be ready to answer everything. Yeah. So
okay, and then my point is this, Napah. That's why I fell back, because this ain't a gotcha moment.
Oh no, I don't think it's a gotcha moment. It's actually Jude. It says, "Contend." Let's see here. It says, "Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that ye should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints."
Okay. Now, here's my problem. Not problem, because I don't even have a problem with nothing. Now, I'm not even judgmental. I just sit back, and I'm going to stay sitting back. But my thing is this right here. You cannot find no scripture that I can, and I haven't even been searching it, because I've been studying the Bible, not the whole Bible, it's the New Testament, since I was 20. So what I'm saying is there's no defending it, but it does say this: do not cast your pearls to the swine, or else they'll be trampled over. So, and that don't mean don't defend God. That don't mean that. That means if somebody don't want to listen to what you got to say philosophically or theologically, shake the dust off your feet and leave it as a testimony against it. You're not supposed, see, that's what, I look at these fellas, and they want to go get a source of the same colonizer who wrote these books and name me. I got a paper right here with
the colonizer wrote the books, or you mean translated?
Yes. I got a book. I got a paper right here with 5 black scholars, because I'm trying to look for scholars who we can go to, and I'm not talking about Sheikh Diop or none of those guys. I'm talking about going back to Rome and antiquity. I'm talking about that. I want to see, because we always see the sculptures of the curly hair European scholars, Herodotus, all of these guys. Where are the guys look like me doing this? And if you can bust my bubble, bust my pinata, do it.
Well, no. Where are the philosophers?
Yeah.
Those are Roman philosophers that you and
give
Greek
me some
Greek
black,
and Roman.
Okay.
But there's also African. There's Kemetic.
I'm saying name a couple of them for me so I can research it.
Well, you mean philosophers?
Yeah.
I can look it up for you. We can.
No, I already looked it up. I wanted to know if you could do it just off the top of your head.
There probably
because you can listen. You can name 5 Greek philosophers off the top of your head right now, because you that intelligent and you that well read. See what I'm saying? I think you can.
I don't really think they would. See, I don't look at it like everybody else, where it's saying they were white. Like the social construct that we have today, like white, black, and other. It wasn't like that in ancient times. It wasn't.
Yeah, that's why I said look like us.
Well, I don't even know. Some Greek people did look like us.
Where the sculptures at?
Where's the sculptures? Well, there were emperors who were actually black.
Yeah.
So
I've seen a few over in Europe that they have in their museums. That's painted. They look like me or darker, with curly hair.
Well, there was let's see here. I want to get the name right. Septimius Severus. Yes, he was black. He was black, and he looks just like all the rest of those different sculptures. So here he is. I just Wikipedia.
Yeah, show me a picture of him, please, and I'm gonna write that down.
I'm pretty sure, he was black, wasn't he? Yeah, he was.
Nah, he looked like a European. Look at his nose, the bridge of it.
Here.
Look at the bridge of his nose.
Emperor
the phenotype tells you a lot.
Leptis Magna in Libya. He was born in Africa. I don't know. He could have been white, but it says he was African. After opposing and killing the incumbent, Severus fought his rival, the Romans. Niger was defeated. I think he was black.
Oh, well, his phenotype don't look black. That's all I'm saying. I could be wrong, right?
Let's see here. Here's a bust of him. I mean, that could be a black man. This is what I said. It's like, I'm pretty sure he's black, though.
Oh, okay.
Let me check. You can ask Google.
He look European to me.
It is Septimius Severus black.
I doubt.
Or what was. Black. Let's see. Oh, goodness gracious. Hold on. All right. Let me read this overview. Or you could get it.
Yeah, I will. I was just looking for and I had this paper here all the time. Then, my papers pile up at my desk here. And I get to moving stuff, because I don't want my stuff to be too cluttered.
Okay, does it say what he was? Let's see here. I think he was African.
And then you got to keep in mind, though, all Africans didn't look like me.
Yeah, well.
Right?
Yeah.
We gotta make that distinction. We got to understand that or Unc gonna pop up.
I think there's more than just him, though. Oh gosh, something's wrong with me. I can't get to it. Well, let me look it up on something else because my laptop is let me take a second.
Okay, go ahead. One of them was St. Augustine.
Let me ask
St. Augustine.
Yes, of course I've heard of St. Augustine.
He was black.
Well, you're the one over here saying that there's no black philosophers.
No, I didn't.
I'm not going to comment on that, though.
I didn't say that. I said there's very few. See, you like the
Was Septimius
you like the
Severus
word
a
stuff
black
that I say
man?
the way you want to word it. But that's okay.
Let me see here.
I'm not mad at you. Dang, I
Was the
say those
Emperor
scholars all the
Septimius
time, and when it's time
Severus
for me
a
to
black man?
represent it, well, the proof is in the pudding. It's kind of hard to pinpoint it when we can look. I can Herodotus, Plato. You know, it's a lot more that we can just name off.
Let me
Right.
read this for you.
Go
Excuse
ahead.
me. It says, was he blessed? We're going to find out. Okay. He was not black.
Oh,
It says he was not a black man of sub-Saharan African descent. Instead, he possessed the olive complexion. See, this is why, and dark features typically of North African. That's black.
yeah,
That's
I get
sad.
what you. I get what
They're
you're
trying to
saying.
say Kemet isn't black. So he
Yeah,
was.
I get
so
what
he
you're
was
saying.
black.
Yeah,
was a black
it makes a lot of sense.
He was a black man. His father was Punic, Phoenician colonist. They were black.
Right.
Like Hannibal.
Hannibal was black.
His mother was Italian Roman descent. So he was a black emperor. It says throughout history, discussions about his ethnicity have generated significant debate.
Mm-hmm.
Some Afrocentrist perspectives classify him as an African and black, while classicists and modern historians point out that the Northern African population of that region had Semitic and Mediterranean ancestry rather than sub-Saharan. It doesn't matter. You know, they're always like sub-Saharan.
I found it.
It's not just about them being sub-Saharan. Kemet they were black people. They were just different than the Sudanese.
I agree with you.
So he was black.
Napah, I found it here.
Go ahead.
I should scan it off and put it on online for you. It says modern biblical scholars and theologians. These are the black ones, right? Saint Augustine of Hippo, born a modern day Algerian, is often called the father of Western Christianity. His works, like Confessions of the City of God, established the bedrock of most of Western theology. Tuolilani of Carthage, the first to use the Latin term Trinity. He was a prolific defender of the faith against early heresies. I'm finna scan this off and put it on there, then you will be able to look. Augustus of Alexandria, a key figure of the Council of Nicaea. He was a primary champion of divinity of Jesus Christ, a black man. Modern black scholars often emphasize the liberating power of the Bible and its relevance and to the marginalized. James H. Cole, 1938 to 2018, known as the father of Black liberation theology. His work, The Cross of the Lynching and Tree, connects the cross and the lynching tree connects the suffering of Jesus to the history of lynching in America. Cain, Hope. These, this says Black Bible personalities and origins. And these are philosophers. I'm finna scan it and let you, go through it and do your research so you can bust some piñatas with it. How about that?
Sounds good. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm finna do that right now as we speak. I got my equipment right here.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna scan it in?
Yeah, I'm gonna scan it and put it right online. You're finna get it in 2 or 3 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I got an Apple here working. It's pretty quick.
All right. So what we see is that you're looking for more scholars, philosophers in history.
Yeah, because I want to know the story of history from our point of, a black man's point of view and from his framework. I just don't want to know, because we already know it from a Eurocentric point of view, because that's what we are under, right?
I guess, but I don't think back then it was like that.
Oh, I can't. You know what? I will hold my mouth on that one because I don't know how it was back then. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
a lot of things, I'm not. I'm not afraid to admit I don't know. I can be more agnostic than possible if need be, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. So let me see. Let me get
Hit the
program
like button. We're gonna be
preview.
once you get that done, I'm gonna close it down.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this just be some literature for you because, like I said,
Thanks.
you are, you well read and stuff like that, and you can bang it out with the best of them, right? So, I like you. I think you got a good head on your shoulders, but I don't agree with everything that you agree with, and that's fine,
Right.
you know.
Oh, I'm sorry I yawned. That was so rude.
Yeah, that's fine that we don't agree on everything because that puts us on a road to discovery, right? So we got to go and do our research, and not only that, once we do our research, we once we do our research, then we can come out with our own, ideals and things of that nature, right? So I got it right here. I'm going to move this out of there. Okay, and I'm going to add this in there, and you can.
While you're doing that, I want to thank everybody for joining me. This was great.
There you go, sister.
Awesome.
Let the people see it before they go. There you go.
Yes, Jack.
Yeah.
Who wants the smoke?
Hey, great talking with you.
Yes. Peace to you, Suntan.
Yeah, peace to you too. And Joe Brown don't scare me. He's quite arrogant, but I know what I know.
He have the right to be arrogant? All the things that
I'm not. That's not a bad word.
I think you should be able to be arrogant if that.
That's right. Absolutely.
That's what you want to call him. I don't. But when people say that, he's been through what he went through the struggle in the 60s and 70s.
Absolutely.
Where there were Black people being held back because of their race.
Yeah.
So I think he deserves his flowers, right?
Yeah, hey, absolutely. I like Judge Joe Brown, man. I love Judge Mathis. Hey, don't even be mistaken. I like Judge Judy because I learned from her.
I love all the judges.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I learned from them. So
yes, sir. So we got your document up here. I'm going to put it on the full screen. There it is, everybody. Can you scroll down a little bit? I think there's something where you can't see at the bottom, right?
Hold on, let me see.
Or scroll up, I should say.
No, that's it. St. Augustine is at the top.
All righty, there we have it. And with that said, I want to say thank you, Suntan. You can see your way out. I'm going to just close out with my song. It's always a pleasure. I love that you're always helping, always here. And even though we agree, we're always very loyal to the channel.
And you got to fix your sound thing too, okay?
Yes, I need a Mac like you.
I'm just saying, when you talk, your mouth be moving and I don't hear nothing. I'm like, damn.
You know what it is? It's even though I have an internet that they say is the quickest, the fastest that they can offer, it's the internet. And to be honest, it's not my internet. It's really StreamYard. They take so much energy and so much. You saw Judge Joe Brown kept getting kicked out.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try it. Judge Maybelline. Who's Judge Maybelline?
Oh, you don't remember Judge Maybelline? She cool too. She a black lady.
The black lady with the short hair?
With the glasses.
Oh, I like her. Yes.
Maybelline cool. And I like Judge Million too. All right.
Oh, Judge Million. Yeah, I like her too. I like a lot of these judges. So peace to you. I'm going to play my song. And good looking out. Good looking out with Napah Shadah. That's my show. I didn't do the intro song, but it was good. My final words are this. I come from a background of a family who is very pro civil rights, pro activism for people who are downtrodden, who are oppressed. And quite often that unfortunately does translate into Black people. But we cannot, this is what my father taught me, my mother, we can't blame a system or give power to a system that is known to oppress people who are the underdogs. it is a fact that slavery was is atrocious. It hasn't, we still have that scar on our people, in America as Americans, but we are moving forward. We have to heal from things. I'll be the first person to say, no, we will not forget about slavery. No, we will not say that slavery didn't happen. But who's trying to push that? Black people. It's like we've been put on remote control. The slave masters who set you free, it's like they put you on a remote control to start self-destructing. The drugs in the neighborhoods, the sex trafficking, the lack of respect for life, the cowardice. We are a better people than that. Yes, there's a lot of post-traumatic slave syndrome going on, a lot of psychological stuff going on, but that will not hold us back. We will continue to tell each other, no, you're not going to make the excuse. Are you valid to say, yeah, that there was slavery? Yes, it's valid, but you're not going to make the excuse in 2026, in the 21st century. You're not going to say, I couldn't do it because I'm Black. Because even the people back then, they didn't say that. Black Wall Street, they didn't say, oh, we can't do it because we're Black. Martin Luther King's advocates, they didn't say, I can't do it because I'm Black. Everyone successful, there are people who are handicapped, physically handicapped. They say, I'm not going to focus on the things that are holding me back. I am going to look forward, and I'm going to know that I can do it because I want to do it. Does that mean that racism doesn't exist? No, I told you my story in the store, but you got to know how to move forward and keep pushing forward and say, you're not going to stop me. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, the white supremacy, the white power. No, there isn't any power over you besides the almighty power if you believe in a God. And if you don't believe in a God, you have the power over yourself. Even if you believe in a God, you have power over yourself. You do. It's easier said than done. We're all struggling in life. Even the trillionaire Elon Musk is struggling. He's struggling a lot more than a lot of people who are flipping burgers. But that's a different conversation. I don't want to get too philosophical and go deep. But we cannot give anybody, especially someone that hates you. Why would you give someone that hates you power over your life? I refuse to do that. I refuse to. A lot of people hate me. They want to make fun of how I look, how I talk, what I do. I will not give them power over my life. I refuse to. Because once you start acknowledging them and saying, yeah, they're the reason, they're the reason I don't go online because they're trolling me. No, they've accomplished what they've wanted to accomplish. So with that said, peace and love to the darkest minds of the light. Peace to Barn Dog. I see you out there, Caleb, Tahuti, Indigenous Black Man, D Centavo, everything, everybody out there, whether you agree with us or not. This is about getting in here and talking about things. Okay. Well, you know what? I beg to differ. I disagree. I judge Joe Brown's rhetoric, and I'm going to bring him back more. Peace to you, Dios míos. I'm going to bring him back more. And I like how we had the voice of Suntan come in. So we had balance. So good looking out, GLO with Napah Shadah. Peace to the darkest minds of the light. Reality is simulated existence. I'm going to get back to talking about the real, the arcane. This isn't the type of stream for this, but I'm going to let you know I've been thinking. I've been having a lot of downloads, a lot of visitations by, we've been taught in Enoch and the book, the watchers are bad. The watchers are not bad. That's why I don't talk about, there's a group of people over me that we have guardians, each one of us. We have guardians. We have spiritual beings that move forward for you. If you're an atheist and you don't want to say spiritual beings, you have energetic forces, energy. You have energetic forces in a field of consciousness. You know, whatever language you want to use, but there's something that you have to tap into that's beyond what somebody can physically do to you. Somebody can grab you and put you in a cage and lock it up. Don't let them imprison your mind. The scripture says, fear not the one who can kill the body or imprison the body or physically stop you. Fear the one who can kill the body and the soul. What does that mean to me? Well, how does that mean? That means I'm not going to focus on the physical things that someone can do. Because if I'm smart enough and if I have enough power, I'm tapped in to my guardians, to people say guardian angels. If I'm tapped into it, which is first and foremost the Most High, if I'm tapped into that, nothing can stop me. Nothing can stop me. So if you keep that mindset, you start to form your own reality. You start reality. So a man thinketh, so he is. That's my mom's favorite thing to say. So a man thinketh, so he is. If you think something, you can set your concept. It starts in your thought. And you continue to manifest that. This is more metaphysical. You continue to push that thought out. I'm not held back by anything. I'm not held back by anything. I'm not held back by my race. I'm not held back by my gender. I'm not held back by my physical abilities. I'm not held back by my financial abilities. Thing will drop into line for you. Okay, so that's facts. All right, with that said, peace. So a man thinketh, so he is. Proverbs 10. Thank you so much. All right, peace to you. Peace to you. I appreciate you being here, everybody. Thank you so much. And yes, I will. I'm gonna talk about that more, but not today. I'm gonna close out with my closeout song for the GLO show. This is the GLO show. Peace and love to everybody.
Good looking now, keep getting clout. This is what it's about. We love teaching. There is no time. They programmed your mind. Construction blind. We not sleeping. Come join the love, come join the fun, and call it education. Let's get profound. Let's uncover all of the deep arcane things. Good looking out. Good looking out. Good looking out. In Napah, Shadah. Come join the love, come join the fun, and call it education. Let's get profound. Let's uncover all of the deep arcane things. Good looking out. Good looking out. Good looking out. With Napah, Shadah. Good looking out. Good looking out. Good looking out. With Napah, Shadah. GLO, we gon' blow. GLO, we gon' blow. So let's go. We're going to glow. GLO, with Napah. So let's good looking now. Keep getting clout. This is what it's about. There is no time. They programmed your mind.